Okay. What time is it over there? It is currently 4:30 a.m. You guys, very early. Do I think Nepo choked the game? Like I said, we don't know what. I mean, you don't know what Nepo really thought because this was such a long game, and obviously everybody was tired. Everybody wanted to get out of there. There wasn't really there weren't a lot of questions. Like I said, either Nepo either wildly overestimated how what the position was like, and he thought that it was just an easy draw no matter what he did, or I think he just fell asleep at the wheel. That's my guess. One of those two. I'm on the chess.com stream again. Okay, fair enough. Something sketchy with the music going up and down with your speech. Music levels should be pretty solid here. I don't think should be changing much. Chess.com predicting a happy Hikaru. Okay. Well, I mean, I think we're gonna get a wild game today. That's my guess. If we don't get a wild game today, I mean, it still won't be shocking, but basically, Jan has to hold, and then the next 3 games is this, or the next. Actually, it's only 2 games, right? It's 3. Wait, sorry, it was 3-2. This is 3, so it's only 2 on the next set. So either Jan has to basically try to be solid, and then in the final set of 3 games where he's white, black, white, go for everything, or basically try it here, I think. Did Nepo try to win by time? Well, I mean, he didn't win by time with that, when he played this e5 move instead of bishop takes b4. But his big mistake was playing queen e4. That was the big mistake. E4 played. Okay, so we do have moves, so let's wait for the moves to come in here. So yeah, let's see. Okay, we have moves, so we have so Jan sticks to the same opening. He plays the Spanish here, so pretty kind of standard so far. Knight f6, I guess he's gonna castle, obviously, and bishop e7 will be played. I expect all these moves to happen immediately. Rui Lopez, I'm sad. Yeah, I mean, we get another Rui Lopez Spanish. I guess probably I'll tell you guys what happened. In terms of Jan playing the Rui Lopez, I'll tell you why. Basically, what happened is I'm guessing his team basically they did their best to keep Jan as calm and collected as they could, and they felt that like it's better that he tries to play for a small advantage here than go for broke. That's my best guess. In terms of why he's playing this, they figure it's better to be solid, maybe go for a small edge, reduce the risk of a loss as well. Because obviously, if Jan loses this game, the whole match is over. So okay, a4 played again, rook b8 played again. I wonder if we're gonna get the exact same line. That's the big question here. I'm surprised Magnus didn't play the Berlin. Well, Magnus, I don't see why Magnus would change because he's basically been sticking this anti-martial. You know that Jan had 6 months to look at the Berlin endgame, so Magnus probably just decided he's not going to play the Berlin. So obviously AB5 will be played here. Probably we'll get what H3 and C3 and D4 again. Pretty standard as usual. 0.7. Yeah, I mean, I know the computer thinks that rook b8 is a little bit dubious relative to other lines. I do know that like this b4 line and bishop b7 are considered the best 2 lines. Rook b8 is considered a little bit dubious. Not like it's losing or anything, but it isn't considered as sound, I believe, as b4 bishop b7 after white plays a4 on move 8. So that, I mean, that's probably the reasoning behind Jan playing this is that he just knows it's happening. Brother, have you moved to the EU wire streaming so early lately because there's a world championship going on? It's the premier event, and what else would I be covering? So who would I rather win the match? Well, I mean, honestly, at this point, I don't think it's a big deal either way. But you don't want Magnus winning. So, I mean, if Magnus wins this game, the match is effectively over. So the only result that I definitely do not want to see today is I don't want to see Jan win the match, because if Jan wins this game, it's all over. Or not Jan, sorry. Magnus wins this game, the whole thing is over. It's just over. So that's the only thing that I really would say that I really am that's one result I don't want today. Definitely don't want that. You thought it was over yesterday. I mean, it's still going to be very tough for Jan, but I mean, he could win 1 game, but there's 0 chance he's going to win 2 games. 0 chance. Thank you, Genghis Khan, for the 6 months. Thanks so much to Genghis Khan. Thank you Hellsec for the 12, Hardy Boy and JC Winter Mute. Thank you so much, you guys, appreciate it. So yeah, that's the only result. I'd rather have another 8-hour game today. 8-hour game would be great. Yeah, 8-hour game would be awesome. Oh, Magnus did win yesterday. Yeah. I want Magnus to win. I don't think someone who only plays one opening to be a world champion. I mean, Jan can play other openings. It's just I think Jan's team fills it in the Spanish. That White's a little bit better here. That's my guess. Thank you to Aga Parham for the Prime. Thanks so much to Aga Parham. Appreciate it. Also, I wanted to say something about yesterday as well. Just a little thing. Because I know there were some people who probably thought that I wasn't like all that amazed or all that wowed by Magnus's win. And I kind of want to say that, you know, that probably is true. Actually, I wasn't. And the main reason that I wasn't is because I've seen Magnus do it before. So obviously it was very impressive, but for me, because I've seen it happen, no less I've actually been on the wrong end of it. It's not like it's that big of a surprise to me. So that's what I would say, because I know there were some people who thought that I was really downplaying the whole thing. So I just thought I would point that out. All right. Where I played game 6 mid game, you know, there's something funny about that game, and I was thinking about it a lot last night, which is what I was thinking about the game. What's funny is that I don't think any other top player would have played Queen E4 in the position that Jan played Queen E4 there, where he blundered Rook takes A3. I don't think any other top player would have played Queen E4. But the irony is that Jan's ability to kind of, I don't know, not even remotely care is the right way of putting it. But Jan's ability to really not like over respect Magnus there and think that almost anything was fine is part of the reason that he's done so well against Magnus, and part of the reason that he's in this situation. So like it kind of cuts both ways. That's the irony to it. So that's what I would say, broadly speaking, about it, is that's the one thing. So yeah. Okay, so we have H6 still. Jan's move. Jan has not moved, apparently. It looks like he still hasn't moved. I think he sent Tejas for the 7th and Inception for the 21. Jan does not have to go all in today, but he has to hold tomorrow. Like, if this is a draw, he must not lose tomorrow. If he doesn't lose tomorrow, then he has chances. Then he has chance because he can reset the mental. But I would say that today. I expect Jan to go for it. Yesterday, Jan lost the game because he lost patience at the end. I think the queen versus the rook knight and 2 pawns. I mean, obviously, computer will draw that with no issues whatsoever. But I think for any human, they would have lost that there. I was thinking about that more and more. This whole idea of getting the rook in front of the E and F pawns was a brilliant concept by Magnus, and I think that I mean, unless you're a computer, any human loses that position there. So probably Queen E4 you can attribute to patience, whatever you want to say it was. But that was a huge mistake. Did I see Magnus say he tried to make the game go for a long time? Yes, and obviously he was right to do that. They did a Bozbone for the 3 months. I mean, that was absolutely the meta was completely correct from Magnus. Would I go all out today if I was in Jan's place? I think I actually would, and the reason I think I would go all in is simply because I don't like Jan's chances tomorrow with black. Again, mind you, I mean, he was completely equal out of the opening yesterday, so he hasn't really been in trouble in opening, so maybe he shouldn't be that concerned. But I do feel like for Jan, it's a tough ask to draw today and then just be solid tomorrow. One move Jan had like 10 bad moves and 2 good ones. The table ace, 99% of us would have chosen the wrong. So I think once it got to queen versus rook knight and 2, it was just practically too difficult to play, basically. He had winning chances. Well, like I said, that's kind of the catch-22, is that anyone except Jan would not have played that queen e4 blunder, but anyone except Jan probably doesn't get to that situation with that sort of very messy double-edged position. So it's very it's really very double-edged. Okay, so we have knight c3 played here, so probably I assume we're gonna get bishop e6. It makes the most sense to me, at least. Computer likes knight b4. I actually don't really want to look at lines, because I felt like we over-relied on computer lines yesterday. So bishop e6 is what I'd play if I'm human. Computer said knight b4. What else? Knight d4 maybe is a move. Knight d4, knight d4, knight d5. Maybe something like this is very actually, it probably is not solid because of queen g4 hitting everything. Well, there is rook f6, but then e5. So probably if I'm Magnus, I'm looking at knight b4, knight d4, bishop e6, or maybe bishop b7. Although bishop b7 takes it away from the king side. So I do think that most likely we'll get one of these three moves here from Magnus. Question is which one. Thank you to Jukes for the 5 months. Thank you so much to Jukes. Appreciate it. Thank you so much to Jukes. Do I think Jan needs to be almost slightly better going to the end game against Magnus? Is Magnus already super strong there? Well, I mean, Jan was fine yesterday. Jan was completely fine. He just kind of, I mean, I don't know if you want to say got careless, lost patience, fell asleep at the wheel, whatever you want to say. If he doesn't go Queen E4, if he doesn't play that fateful Queen E4 blunder, I think he would have drawn that pretty routinely, I have to say. But when he blundered Queen E4, Rook A3, then I mean all bets were off, and I mean Magnus obviously used the magic and got it going forever. And I mean he must have played like 20 perfect moves near the end. I mean he played a phenomenal near the end. Bot coming today? No, we're flying solo today, or riding solo, I guess you could say. Yana's leaving after every move. Yeah. Let's see if I have that here. I don't know if I have that one on this playlist. But yeah, I mean, I think that I think that basically, yeah, Jan just really he got a little bit careless. I mean, that's a brutal way to lose. Like one move basically was the reason. Yesterday's game was critical. I think today is probably these next two games are critical, are really critical. Obviously, I mean, goes without saying, obviously based on the match score. But the next two games really are important in terms of whether we're gonna have a match heading into the final like 4 to 5 games, or whether it's gonna be maybe over by that point. Thank you to Oregon Handel for the 2 months. Thank you so much to Oregon Handel. Appreciate it. 3.5, 2.5 is the match score in favor of Magnus right now. Who do I think is surprised in the opening? I don't know. I really have no idea. Yeah, there was the yeah exchange yesterday, which was pretty funny. Do I think Jan can lose? I mean, of course Jan can lose. Any position is losable, honestly. But I do think that realistically, as we look at this position, Jan is being very, very solid. And I will say something else as well. Having been in situations where I've lost like 8-hour games and had to play really, really tough opponents the next day, very specifically, I lost a game to Magnus, of course. I alluded to this before in the London Chess Classic. I think this was 2016, maybe. Let me see if I can find it. It was like 2016 or 20. Actually, no, sorry. It was I remember. It was 2015, December 2015. I lost a 7-hour endgame to Magnus, 2 bishops versus 2 knights. Very similar to Jan's game. I defended very well for a long time. And then near the end, I had one opportunity to make a draw. I wasn't able to find it with like 2 minutes on the clock, and I lost after 8 hours. And the next day, I had to play with obviously black piece is not white, so that made it harder. But I play against Anish Giri the following day, and basically it was the same situation. Game ends at like 11:30 midnight London time, and the next day the round starts I think at 1 p.m. So very, very similar. And I think what I would say based on my experience from that is what I would say based on my experience from that situation is that what you want to do is basically you just try to go to sleep and just try to relax. And I think really the most important thing is that Jan's main trainer or second, who I believe is Vladimir Kapotkin, was able to just talk to him, try to keep him relaxed, try to prevent him from like staying up all night and like getting really angry over the game. Because that's the biggest problem, is that like when you lose a game like that, it's very easy to not be able to sleep, where you're just like you're up the whole night, you're tossing and turning, you're just thinking about the game nonstop, and you're not able to sleep. And so I think that's really the most important thing. And I feel like Potkin really needed to do a good job with that. Vladimir who? Potkin, not Putin. Potkin, slightly different. So that's what I would say. And I mean we'll see how it plays out. But also what I would also say is another reason maybe that's why Jan isn't going for broke is because it's very hard to like be objective, be fresh after a game like that. Is Magnus out of prep? I think so. Magnus has lost Nepo quite a few times, actually. Nepo has a plus score, but it's very small plus score. I think he's +2. Thank you to SGR Farron for the Prime and SZ Perez for the tier 1. Thank you so much. So, yeah. Not the Vladimir that owns a supercomputer? No. Why are there 2 slashes in front of my name? That's part of the layout, you guys. Part of the layout. Is Nepo actually better than Magnus? I would say I don't think so, but I mean, again, anything can happen in a match. Yeah, that's just what I would say. But I like to see Nepo win. I mean, I want to see a good match. I think regardless of what happens, as long as Magnus doesn't win a second game, if Jan wins, obviously it's hype. If their draws, there's still a lot of tension. But yeah, as long as Magnus doesn't win another game, I think the rest of the match is still going to be very, very fun to watch. This doesn't seem like the English. Well, I'll tell you what happened. Basically, there were two options for Jan. Either go for broke here or try to play for a small edge with limited risk of losing today. Because if you lose today, the match is over. I'm guessing that Jan's trainers felt that the best opportunity lies in maybe being solid today, trying to hold a draw tomorrow, and then going all out after that, is my guess. Yeah, we have another Rui Lopez. Yeah. Magnus stays king until 2030s when a new younger generation comes around. I mean, Ali Reza is kind of in the wings. Like everyone's mind. I mean, everyone's talking about him right now. The age gap is correct. It's about 12 to 13 years. Obviously, just crossed 2,800. So, I mean, it's I mean, you already have someone who's a very serious threat, who's very, very much or who's quite a bit younger than Magnus. So we're already kind of at that point. No, Ali Reza is definitely a very, very big threat to Magnus just because of the age gap and the fact that he's 2,800 already. 100%, he's the most scary opponent for Magnus at the moment. 100%. Yeah, so I mean, we'll see. What are the odds of Nepo winning the match? Very low. Thank you, Tusha Morali, for the 4 months. I mean, like I said, if Jan can play well today and maybe get winning chance, that's good. If he wins, obviously it's great. But the key is, let's just assume it's a draw because 70% plus of classical games are drawn. He just needs to get to the next portion where he has whites. That's what he needs to do. Ali Reza is just overrated. He deserves only 2,750. I mean, maybe you could say that he beat a lot of high 2,600s, like 2,660s, 70s, 80s, but still, he has the rating. I mean, to be fair, he has the rating, and he's done what he's needed to do. So you can kind of say that, but I mean, realistically, he still has the rating, and he definitely deserves to have that rating, in my opinion, at the moment. Maybe you can say, yeah, the quality of the players isn't like, it's not the cream of the crop, but I mean, still, he's beating very good players. So, I mean, what can he really do, honestly? That's what I would say. All right. So Magnus appears to be out of preparation at the moment, which is kind of peculiar. Kind of peculiar, I have to say. He seems to be out of preparation, which is very unusual. Very, very unusual. We're on move number 12. So it's kind of odd that Magnus is out of prep here. I mean, I guess Magnus must have only looked at knight d2, f1, g3, e3 ideas, and this knight c3 move is definitely a surprise. Let's try to figure out what's going on. So bishop e6 seems like the human move. Why is bishop e6 bad? Maybe there's knight d5 here, because if you take, of course, there's the fork of the knight and the bishop. Take with the bishop, I take, and if you go knight d4, I mean, take 6, queen f3, queen f4. This looks very, very bad for black. And if you play takes a knight b4, I guess c4 is good for white. Maybe not. Computer bar just went way down. I don't know why. Oh, knight h4 apparently is very good. Yeah, I mean, tough to see. I guess this must be the whole concept, is hoping that for the human, bishop e6, so you can play knight d5. This must be the big goal here for Jan. Also, bishop d7, there might be knight d5 anyway here. Bishop b7, maybe knight d5 anyway too. So I guess the whole idea is to go knight d5 and take advantage of the fact that the knight has no squares here on the a file. That has to be the reason. Why is Ding nowhere to be seen? I think the problem with Ding Liren is that the rules for traveling out of China are extremely strict, I think. And I think that because of that, he's not really able to travel. And from what I've heard, it's very, very hard getting back into the country. So he'd basically have to live abroad probably for a couple of months if he wanted to play in other events. How's the prep going for the SEC? Yeah, low social credit. Yeah, exactly. How do I wake up so early? Because it's a serious job. Streaming is a very serious job, or at least I treat it that way. So that's why. I mean, it's a very serious job. There are a lot of fans who follow chess. If 25,000 people are going to watch the stream like they were yesterday, I believe that should serve as enough motivation to get up at 4 a.m. frankly. So yeah, that's what I would say. What's the stream delay? I think there's probably a very short delay. I don't know what it is. It's like I don't know if it's like, I think it's like maybe 30 seconds to a minute is my guess. For Europe, it's not that early, no, but for the US, it is. No, definitely. I think we peaked around 28K. It's like 28.4 or something. It was somewhere around there, but at any rate, I mean, that's not the main point. Can I bring Ding to commentate? I mean, sure, I could ask him. I guess I don't know how I would actually reach him easily, but yeah. I checked with chess.com. Your delay is just 3 seconds. Okay, move to the EU for better chess times. EU. I mean, I love the EU, but I have to say that I mean, I'm so used to living in America that that I it would not be. I mean, it's just not for me. Just not for me. That's all I'm gonna say. Many people awake at TSM. No, I'm the only person at TSM. Only person at TSM. So yeah, I mean, I love Europe. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's some things that I love about Europe. There are a lot of things that I do prefer about the US. I do have to say. I think to die pro when I moved to America when I was 2 years old. League TSM mid and support. I'm sorry, I can't help you guys there. I have nothing to do with League whatsoever. I'm solo commentating today. Yeah, I am. Yeah. European history is greater than American history. Yeah, but then you could also say like Indian, Chinese, and Persian history is way greater than EU history. So it's all relative. There's always someone with more history. Like I mean, yeah, like that's what I would just say. So anyway, so social credit plus 465. Yeah, I guess is that the modern joke, you guys? That if I say anything positive about China, I get social credit. Is that the is that the meme right now? That if I say anything, it's literally I feel like if I say anything good about China, I'm getting social credit, right? Yeah. Is Benjamin joining later? No, today I'm gonna fly solo. So yeah. All right, rookie 8 was played. You guys say that, of course, there's a slight delay. Okay, so the thing is, after rookie 8, I'm betting that knight e2, knight g3 is not the idea, because if Jan wanted these ideas with knight f1 with knight e3 g3, he could have just put the knight on d2 and then gone to f1. So since rookie 8 has been played, let's think about it. What's the move? Is it just knight d5 here? But knight d5 takes. There's knight b4, right? And then c5. Doesn't look great for white. I mean, it feels like white has a small advantage, but doesn't feel like it's all that much. So let's see. Engine doesn't like rookie 8. Yeah, Engine doesn't like rookie 8. I don't know. I mean, it feels like white's better, but again, how do you prove it? It's a very, very solid structure. And I mean, I know the computer gives like 0.5. Obviously, supercomputer is probably lower. Why do they keep getting up when they're only 10 minutes into the match? Because everybody needs to do PP in their Pampers, and there are a lot of nerves. And I alluded to this before. This might not be a good take, or this might like turn off some people from wanting to play chess professionally. But I will say that I know from my own experience and from like quite a few other players, that basically players when they play chess are a lot more nervous. There's a lot more like everything's just like kind of flowing. And so people go to the restroom a lot more than they regularly do when they play chess. So that is one of those things that I would say, which is I don't know if that I guess that's bad, but I do know that is true. Evaluation bar ruins the fun. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, so many people look at the bar and they see 0-0-0 like in the game yesterday, but at some point it was very clear that it was not going to be zeros because we were humans and we're playing. So yeah. I go to stream a lot during the restroom. Sometimes I don't. I don't always just go to the restroom, but I would say that that also as a streamer, you guys know you gotta hydrate. You gotta use your fuel. And so you gotta hydrate. You gotta have your fuel. You gotta have your water. You gotta drink lots of liquids. So that's how it goes. So yeah. Thank you to JP for the 18 months as well. Thank you so much, JP. Appreciate it. Knight h4 eventually because of the light square bishop. Yeah. Where's the Hikaru shaker? I have it still, you guys. We still have it. Of course we have our shaker, courtesy of G Fuel, you guys. We do have our shaker right here. I should see it. So that is from G Fuel, of course, you guys can see. So yeah, so we do have our shaker as well. Once again, you can order those at gfuel.com. Bring it to TwitchCon or whenever I actually do a meetup in Florida, and I will sign it. I guarantee it. So that's just what I would say. What does Japanese letter mean? Oh, this is my first name. This is Hikaru in Japanese, for those of you guys who are wondering. That the kanji is for Hikaru. That's what it is. 20k signatures. I mean, I'm actually not joking. I do hope to do a meetup. Obviously, we have Micron or all that weird stuff going on right now, which, as far as I can tell, should not be a big deal. Which is why I'm a little bit confused by the market acting like it's the end of the world. But we do have but I am hoping to do a meetup in Florida at some point. I want to basically do like what Nick Merckx did, something almost exactly along those lines, maybe even in that kind of part of Florida, perhaps. So something like that down the road is my thought process. All right. Okay, so we have knight c3 rook e8 played here. So will knight d5 be played? Will knight e2 be played? We're in Florida. I was thinking like west side, or I was thinking either like Fort Lauderdale or maybe Tampa area, something along those lines. Thank you to Jackson Citus as well. Thank you so much, Jackson Citus. Oh, Destiny is moving to Florida. Nice. Thank you to Rupert of Zebra for the 2 months. Appreciate it. But yeah, I was thinking about something like that. What's this say? We intend for TwitchCon to return with TwitchCon Amsterdam in July 22, followed by TwitchCon San Diego in October. Yeah, I mean, if there's a TwitchCon in San Diego, obviously I would go there. I mean, I assume that I would go there. I mean, unless I switch platforms, but I don't think I will be. So anyway, yeah. Let's see. So Jan is thinking right now. So quite a ways to go here. What is Jan going to play? Knight d5 looks like the obvious idea. I mean, I don't see any other moves besides knight d5. There's knight d5. There's bishop e3 here. Yeah, I'm trying to think about this as a human. And as a human, if Jan is out of prep, he's probably thinking, well, why did I go knight c3 versus knight d2? The idea was knight d5. Because even here you can go knight e2 g3. Actually, you can go knight e2 g3 to get the same kind of setup as you get from d2 f1 g3 or d2 f1 e3. So yeah, I'm guessing this has to be the human reason to play knight c. Oh, okay. Well, sure enough, he plays knight d5. Okay, so right on cue. So I guess bishop f8 c4. Do I hold any Bitcoin? No, I don't. I have some Ethereum. Not a lot, but I have some. I mean, I don't know what's going on over there. So yeah, so he does play knight d5. I'm guessing. I mean, without preparation, I don't think you can really play knight d5. So I would assume he's going to go bishop f8 here or bishop e6. Both moves look like the two human moves. I've looked in the future and this will end in a draw. I don't know about that. I don't know. Not sure. Odds that it will end in a draw. I still think the odds of a draw here are very high, simply because of the symmetrical pawn structure. I mean, all Spanishes, because they have symmetrical pawn structures, have a pretty high draw rate here. So I mean, draw is always most likely result. Jan did not go for wild. I mean, again, I don't know. We'll see if it was right or wrong. I mean, what's going to hinge upon is whether he can maybe win today. If we assume this is going to be a draw today, it's going to come down to tomorrow. If Jan is able to hold down the draw tomorrow, then it's perfectly right. But if he draws and he's not able to hold it tomorrow, then of course it was 100% the wrong decision. Yeah. How much eval advantage does Jan need to convert into a dub? I would say that Jan needs about probably +1 ish. About +1. Is there ever a scenario where you double the rooks on the A file? It's obviously a possibility. Pretty unlikely, because generally you're going to be playing the center of the board here, like C3 and D4 is usually the way that you play this. So I mean, maybe if you got some position like I'll just make some random moves to give an example. Maybe if you got some position like this, you could always go for like a double here on the A file, but generally it's going to be pretty rare to double up like that. So thank you to Bedside Lotion for the tier 1. Thanks so much to Bedside Lotion. Appreciate it. Thank you. +1 on low depth is overvalued. I mean, again, hard to judge. Hard to judge. Do you have find classical boring now after playing Blitz and Rapid in recent years? I still enjoy classical chess. I just haven't had the opportunity to play it. That's what I would say. Do I think you should go for something more risky? I mean, time will tell whether it was correct to play this way or not. So that's just what I would think. Thank you, Pash TV for the Prime. Thanks so much, Pash TV. So that's just what I would say. Is King's Gambit possible? Yes, it is. It is possible. Yeah, totally. Kind of sad that they didn't play the Bond Cloud. That would never happen. Yeah, I mean, obviously seeing Jan win would be pretty amazing, but again, no guarantees at all. It's sad what's happened with Aroni and the Armenian Federation. I mean, I'm glad it's with Team USA, but it's just a sad situation. I don't know a whole lot of, I don't know very much about that, so I don't really feel like I should comment on it. So I simply don't know enough. My name's on the rating list. Yeah, we've been over that, you guys. When I play in 2022, which I will, I'll for sure play the US Championship at a minimum. Then my rating will show up again. So it's just temporarily not there. Why does Jan keep going for drawish openings? I mean, I will say this. One thing that I feel with Jan, one of his strengths, is he's very good when he gets like a big initiative to attack. And when he gets a big initiative to attack, he's very strong. I feel like playing for these very small edges, this feels like something that's more in the style of like a Vishy Anand type of player. So that's what I say. Is it mandatory to suit up? Most of these chess tournaments now have some kind of weird dress rule. I've been over this. It's part of this whole push by FIDE to try and get chess. I don't know if it's get in the Olympics or make it look more quote unquote professional, whatever you want to call it, but it's all part of that. Yeah, I do say I would say that these openings, I do feel like this is much better for Vishy. This is like Vishy style. This doesn't feel like Jan style, I have to say. Thank you to 6 wicket for the tier 1. Why not C4? He played it in the candidates. Yeah, I mean, I want to see C4 at some point. But yeah, children's board game in Olympics. Well, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, chess is like, they have drug testing, which of course, as I said, is also part of that whole push to try and I mean, have that pipe dream of chess being in the Olympics, when of course chess should never be in the Olympics. So it's all kind of weird to me. Thank you to J Marziz for the Prime. Thank you so much to J Marziz. Appreciate it. Thank you. So that's all part of it. Okay, we do have a movie of Bishop F8 played here by Magnus. I guess what are the options here is really the big question. Let's think about what the options are. You can go C4, you can go Bishop E3 maybe. I think a Junior BBR as well. Thank you so much to Junior BBR. Appreciate it. I see Bishop D2, Bishop E3, and C4. Those are the 3 human moves. I guess I'll turn lines on to see what the computer says as well. What does it say? It says okay, computer does like Bishop D2. It also likes Knight F6, which is kind of weird. Okay, I don't understand that. I would guess that here I would expect like C4 or Bishop D2 are the moves that that make the most sense to me. Although C4 takes, Bishop C4, Bishop E6 might also be fairly dry. So maybe just Bishop D2. How likely is it for this match to go tie breaks? It's possible. I would say, relatively speaking, it's fairly unlikely, especially with the decisive game yesterday. Do they have to move the piece they touch, or can they change their mind? If you touch a piece, you have to move it, you guys. As we know, it's called touch move, not touch release. I'll show you guys a quick video of that, just so you're aware of what not to do. Okay, so let's
okay, you could just take on.
Whoa, that's way too loud. Let me turn this down, just so you guys understand how it works. Here's a game played by Gary Chess, the greatest chess player of all time. Wait, here we go. Wait, why is it not showing? Why is it not showing? Why is my OBS so messed up lately? 1 second, you guys. Sorry about that. 1 second. Very bizarre. Okay, there we go. Okay, here we go. So just so you guys are aware of how the rules work, I'll turn the volume way down. I think you guys can see this. Let me Make this a little bit smaller. There we go. Okay. Okay, let me make this a touch bigger. There we go. I'll play it right now. So just so you guys understand how it works. 240p, yeah, I was gonna say that's really bad, right? Oh, 360 is the best. Okay.
E4 and tie him down to the e-pawn.
By the way,
Gary now, whoa, didn't he let go? He did let go.
I think he did.
I think he did. He let go, but
that's exactly not what you do, you guys.
no, prior to playing this move, he had actually put the knight on b4, and did he release the? Did he release it? Let's take a look.
Indeed, let's take a look and note that.
And here we go, right?
But he did not.
He released it.
Without
I mean, there's no question. He almost hit the clock.
Questions, but
So
he
you guys,
almost
that's
hit
not
the
what you
clock
do.
even. And that rewind, here we go. Once again.
So as you see, you guys, he made the move and then he took it back. But if he touches the knight and moves it somewhere else, of course, yeah.
He almost hit the clock.
He actually made the clock
look
in motion.
at Hikaru's face right there.
He's laughing.
Then
A
knight
little
f4.
sheepish.
I think he's saying, like, Hikaru's saying, man, if he's going to play a move like knight b4, I am going to win this match, even if I don't win this game.
Okay, and Gary.
Yeah, so anyway, you guys, just to show you guys how you're supposed to how you're not supposed to do it, there you guys go. So just to point it out. All right, what is the rule? Yeah, well, I'll tell you, the reason that he's the creator, he can do anything. Yeah, I'll tell you the reason that I didn't actually like really call him out on that. The reason I didn't, because more or less it was a fun tournament. It was sort of after the US Championship and there wasn't a whole lot on the line. So that's the reason I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Can't believe you didn't call the arbor. Like I said, I mean, it was after the US Championship, so it was like, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot on the line. I think there was a little bit of money, but it wasn't that big of a deal. So that's why I didn't. If that was like the World Rapid and Blitz, though, I would have definitely called an arbiter. So that's what I would say. I think Elvins for the 28, Duke by fall for the 5, and Taufik for the 2 months. Thank you so much. And actually, Gary took back a move against Judith Polgar in an actual classical game, which was a lot more significant. But yeah, with nothing on the line, really, it doesn't really make sense. If it was a Grand Chess Tour event, for example, I probably would have called him out on it. But in a Blitz tournament after the US Championship, first time he had played Blitz, I think, in a very long time, it didn't feel like the right thing to do. All right. I think the game ended in a draw later on. Yeah. Against Judith Polgar was a lot worse because that was a classical game of chess. So anyway, yeah, so let's stick to the game. We have this position with Bishop F8 still on the board here. I'm guessing that what will Jan play? What will Jan play? There's actually a good video of it. We watched the video on stream a while back. You guys can just Google it or find it on YouTube. There's a video of Kasparov versus Judith Polgar where there's like a clear frame of him taking back the move. So it is pretty bad. All right, so let's see. What is Jan going to play in this position? Is Jan going to play knight f6? Is he going to go bishop d2, bishop e3? What exactly is the idea here? Jan's initial move, or not Jan, sorry, Gary's initial move was the blunder in that position, by the way. Thank you to Peter Sodi for the 19 months. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Am I going to play in the World Rapid and Blitz 2021? That is my intention. I have to get a couple things squared away regarding some forms because you have to get a visa, I guess, to go to Kazakhstan or something. So there are a couple things that I need to firm out, but overall, yes, that is going to be the plan. The red, you guys don't like the red board. Yeah, the problem with the red board is I can't have the animated background with the desert with any other color scheme. So that's why I have the red and white. 1 second. Okay. What if you touch a piece that can't move? Then I think it's kind of okay. I think it's kind of okay. So yeah. Let's see what happens here. What is Jan thinking about? It's actually a bad sign. Very bad sign that Jan is thinking here. Very bad sign that he's thinking here because I would still kind of expect him to be in prep. If he's not in prep here, it's going to be really hard to prove any serious advantage. Really, really hard. Oh, Jan's not at the board. Okay. Yeah, wasn't the last game was 7 hours? Aren't the players tired today and they will agree to a quick draw? The problem is, as I said, Jan cannot really agree to a quick draw because tomorrow he has to play a third game. FIDE, one of the smart things they did actually in this match is they made sure there were games on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So basically, they started the match playing 3 games in a row on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then they played 2 games on Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday off. Now it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday again. So because it's the 3 games here and Jan is white tomorrow, I don't expect a quick draw. Thank you to Odes for the 2. Thank you to JVHS. Thank you to Fizzer for the 10 months. Appreciate it. Why isn't Jan on the board most of the time? I think he likes to think away from the board mostly. That's my guess. So yeah. Shankland will be joining tomorrow, midway through the game. So yeah. But how can he think when he can't see the board? Their screen. I assume there's screens in their private quarters, the private rooms. And separately, obviously, Jan can visualize. Every top chess player can visualize and play blindfold. So that's not an issue whatsoever. Yeah. Yeah, they definitely have monitors in the break in their private quarters for sure. Isn't it easier to play chess over board or online? I mean, I can play both. I mean, I've obviously played a lot of online. I mean, at this point, I played online for a very long time now. I think what I would say is that generally I really do like online, but I haven't played over the board in quite a while, and there is something to actually pushing wood that there's just a nice feel to it. Thank you to 49ers 1969 for the gifted sub. Thank you to Yokojama for the 300 bits. Appreciate it. Jan is actually there for the refreshments. He's just playing the game, not to get bored. Yeah. Is Magnus joining the Rapid and Blitz? If Magnus wins this match and he wins it smoothly, 100% he'll play the World Rapid and Blitz. Will I be rusty in Nur Sultan? Like I said, I should have been very rusty in St. Louis when I played there, and I won that event with no losses, went undefeated throughout the Rapid and Blitz. So, I mean, I don't really see why it should be that bad. Because yeah, and St. Louis, I mean, I just played the St. Louis Rapid and Blitz with 0 expectations, and I didn't lose the game. Thank you to Frody for the 2 months. Why does it matter if he wins the world championship? Well, if he has a very tough grind here to get through, I could see Magnus not wanting to play after such a grueling match. I think that's what I would say. It's definitely possible. Will Ali Rez be playing? That's a much more interesting question. I don't know. I assume there will be some kind of list published soon on the World Rapid and Blitz, but I have no idea. No idea. So, all right. So Jan is deep in the tank. It seems like a good spot for me to take my first break of the day, because really we're not seeing much happening here, and I think Jan is likely going to think for like 10 to 15, maybe even 20 minutes at this point. So I'm going to take my first break of the day, you guys, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes. All right, you guys, and we're back. Looks like Jan got my message, so he did play knight takes f6, the best move here. Let's see what Magnus is gonna do. Magnus will probably take back with the queen in like 2 seconds, I guess, and we'll keep going. Yeah, sorry you guys, I just had to go away, take my phone, send Jan a quick text, and make sure you play knight takes f6. All right. So queen takes f6 is played here. So I'm guessing Jan will play like c3 or bishop e3, c3, rook e3, maybe knight h2 at some point. Where's the beard? I had to shave. Yeah, I will say, I'm gonna be honest, I mean, I just don't think this is good enough. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I know the computer loves this, but you know, we're not 3,800 computers. We're like 2,800 potsers. And I'm gonna be honest. I just don't think that for a human, you have enough. You have enough here. I think a computer wins this position with white because computers are 3,800. But I just don't think. I just don't think this is enough for a human. It's 0.5. Yeah, for a 3,800 supercomputer, it's 0.5. But again, after bishop e6, like rook a6, knight e7, I don't know. It doesn't feel like enough. It doesn't feel like enough. It really doesn't. Computer versus computer, you don't think it wins the position? I mean, it feels so small to me. Like, I know you guys are saying the computer gives it a big edge, but like, I don't know. It just does not look like much. Knight g6 and c5. I mean, it doesn't look like much here. It really doesn't. It doesn't. Does Jan want to draw? I don't think Jan wants to draw. But yeah, this feels very slow. Yeah, it's just, it doesn't feel like much. I'll tell you what I think happened. I think what happened is probably Jan and his seconds, they had a conversation about what he really wanted to do today and how he felt like late last night or when he woke up this morning. And probably they felt, you know, they felt like it was better to just stabilize here, even if he has white pieces, and play for small edges than go for broke. But I will say this, like, if Jan is able to, let's say this is a draw and the next game is a draw, if Jan does not go for broke after that with something besides the Spanish, that would be a big mistake. That would be a big mistake. That's what I would say. So I think it's really, really important that Jan tries. Wouldn't I much rather if Carlsen doesn't play the World Rapid and Blitz? I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I'll play the tournament. You play the tournament, you do your best. I mean, like, hoping that someone doesn't play, that's kind of just, that's a weak mindset, I'm gonna be honest. That's just a weak mindset. Sessa gives 0.1, so okay, so actually it is pretty small then, so I'm not crazy. Okay. I'm not crazy. Okay, because this really doesn't look like much for white. Yeah, maybe bishop e6, knight e. I mean, I just don't see it here. If you trade the bishops, black is completely fine. Like, even if you go rook a6, there's queen d7 here. I mean, queen b3, knight d8, knight e6 looks fine for black. And if you go bishop c2, I think knight e7, knight g6 is fine with c5 here. Black's completely fine. Completely fine. I'd actually be happy to be I'd be happy to be Magnus here. I don't think white is better. Like Ninja said, it's not just a game. Yeah. By the way, big shout out to Ninja. We did raid him yesterday. I hope that he enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed his stream a little bit. Obviously, I mean, one of the OG has been around a very, very long time. Yeah. Why not play against the best competition unless the prize is all you care about, in which case you wouldn't get the point to win it all? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my attitude pretty much. It's like, yeah, okay, if Magnus doesn't play, I guess my chance of winning go up. Who really cares though? I mean it's not really about the money. Because as we know, all the Benjamins are not in actually playing chess. They're in streaming. So yeah, so that's just what I would say. All right. Okay. I expect bishop e6 here. It's about sending the message, yeah. Yeah, it's what did you say? You guys said something. You said do I think Spanish was the right choice by Jan? Like I said, time will tell. If let's just assume this is gonna be a draw. If Jan draws tomorrow, it was the correct decision. That's really all it comes down to. That's just what I would say. But overall, this feels very dry. After bishop e6, like, because I realized if you go bishop c2 and black starts to rotate the knight, so there's also a little bit of some unpleasantness here, maybe with the knight f4 jump as well, so it could be a little bit unpleasant. Why do all the Spanish games look the same? There's a wise proverb about the Spanish, which basically is whoever maneuvers their knights better in the Spanish will win. So like whoever maneuvers the knight to e3 or g3, for example, from f1 or the g6 and so forth, whoever maneuvers the knights best will win the game. But yeah, all Spanishes generally look pretty similar, except maybe the open Spanish. That's a little bit different. So yeah. So for right now, I mean, I think this is fine for Nepo, but as I said, I expect this game to be a draw. And then the question is, can he hold tomorrow? If he can hold tomorrow, then it's the right choice to play like this. If he cannot hold tomorrow, then it's the wrong thing. I am not a lifetime Spanish player. No, I grew up playing the Scotch. So I grew up playing a different opening. I did not grow up playing Spanish. I actually played the Scotch for most of my life because I love Scotland. I love Scotch. It's a great drink. And so I grew up playing the Scotch. So do I still play the Scotch? I love playing the Scotch, but at the top level, it's not as good as the other possibilities. Like at the top level, the main possibilities are the Gucci piano or the Rui Lopez. Those are the two main openings. Do you think we might see the Archangel? Zero chance. Magnus seems to have stabilized this game more so than on any other game with this Rook B8 line against the anti-Marshal. I mean, I don't know. I was gonna say, as for Jan, I kind of wonder if he shouldn't have just gone into the actual Marshal in this game, because in the actual Marshal, there are a lot of drawish lines where you can maybe get some small edge, and so I'm not sure if it was right to play A4 this game. So thank you to Hans Adam Gerhard for the prime. Thanks so much to Hans Adam Gerhard. Appreciate it. Thank you. I think today is the last time. Yeah, I agree. I think today is the last time Jan plays A4. I think he's going to play C4 D4. The problem is Jan's already burned a lot of whites here trying to break it down. I mean, this is his fourth white, right? So he's already played 4 whites and he has no info in D4 C4, which is one thing I would say about Magnus that I like, is that Magnus right out of the get-go, he played D4 and E4 in the first 2 games to get complete information. Whereas Jan has been sticking to this. So now we're much later in the match. When Jan plays D4 or C4, like on move 1, he has no information. He's got no info. So he's flying blind. And that's actually the problem, I think, with Jan not playing D4 and E4 to start the match. Is that, I mean, he's just got no info. Thank you to Filthy Pleasure for the 2 months. Thank you so much to Filthy Pleasure. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. But yeah, do I think Nepo will try Dutch? Zero chance of that. Zero chance. I mean, Jan is obviously struggling after yesterday. Make no mistake about it. I mean, there's no way to downplay it. I mean, having been in that same situation of losing an 8-hour game against Magnus and then having to play another game the next day, like, it's one of the worst feelings in the world. I mean, it doesn't get much worse than that. So it's just a tough spot to be in. Yesterday, Jan was on the verge of tears. He should be. I mean, he should be emotional. It shows that he cares. Of course, he should be emotional. I mean, it's a very, very tough game. Very, very tough way to lose. And I mean, it really doesn't get much worse than that. Thank you, Dwayne, the Rock Hard Johnson, for the tier 1. Thank you so much, Dwayne Johnson. Appreciate it. Thank you for the tier 1. Would I have a chance in a classical match against Magnus? I mean, who knows? You know, the one thing I would say is that I have no idea, because I've never been in a situation where I had 6 months to do preparation, like for a match specifically against one player. So I can't really comment on any of it, because I've never had that experience. Like, that's a question for Fabiano or Vichy. I mean, that's a question for those guys, because I've never been in that situation. So it's not really fair or objective for me to even try to respond to that. I think you wouldn't play Queen E4. Well, as I said, the irony is that Jan's Queen E4 yesterday. I don't think any top player except Jan would have blundered with Queen E4. That's the irony. But no other top GM probably gets that situation because they probably have too much respect for Magnus to begin with. So it's like it's a catch-22 when you talk about his big blunder yesterday. It's like that's the problem. Will Jan play the Sicilian? Not sure. Do I have plans for classical chess in 2022? I assume I'll play the US Championship. I haven't gotten a reply back on when it's going to be, but I will play in the US Championship in 2022. I think G Gladiator for the prime. I mean, I have no idea because I haven't had 6 months of prep. I do believe that if I had 6 months of prep, I probably could learn the Petrov for other openings. So, I mean, I do think there's some chance, but again, I've never been there, so like I shouldn't really, I can't really know. I mean, there's no way of knowing. It's just all pure speculation on that. I hope Corona doesn't destroy plans again. I mean, look, I've said it before. I mean, there's no way we can shut down again. Like, there's just no chance of that. Well, I play the Grand Prix. Most likely, I will. Most likely. Grand Prix, I probably will play, but again, even the Grand Prix now is looking very weird because Germany is like they're trying to lock down. I mean, which again seems kind of crazy, but apparently Germany's trying to lock down. Have I ever been to Sri Lanka? Yes, I have been to Sri Lanka. Am I playing the World Rapid and Blitz? It is my intention to play the World Rapid and Blitz. Yes, that is my intention. So we'll see. Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Music is nerving. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, let's see. So I guess Magnus is deep in the tank here. I guess Bishop E6 is the move. It's the human move. It's the move that I like. Actually, even computer says it's the best move. So I really am kind of surprised that Magnus hasn't played it. Maybe he's just making sure there's no trick like Rook A6, Knight E7, D4, something like this. There's nothing wrong with this. So again, after Knight G6, it looks very, very solid here. That's all I can think as far as why Magnus is thinking. He's just making sure that this Rook A6 line with D4 is nothing special. Who will be world champion if engines don't exist? That's an impossible question. Because no top player today would be where they are without computer engines. So it's just a pointless question. Yeah, it is 1-0 Magnus with 5 draws. I hear about South Africa. I did hear about it, but again, I mean, I'm no epidemiologist. But if people are vaccinated, it's not really affecting them. And also I've heard that, I mean, at least if you read the stuff on it, it doesn't sound like it actually sounds like it's less scary. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I'm gonna say that I just don't get it. Thoughts on 135k watching chess yesterday? Yeah, I think there were about 300k concurrents between chess.com, our channel, YouTube. It was pretty insane. Yeah. So yeah. Bishop D5 is a blunder. It's not a great move here. Bishop C2 maybe is a move. I mean, yeah, I don't really like. I don't know. I don't really feel like this is enough. I don't feel like this is enough. But I feel like yesterday is the epitome. Like, when the game got really exciting, really tense, everyone was watching. Which is why I do believe there's much more of a future for Rapid and Blitz than Classical long term. Because in Classical, we got one really exciting game, but I don't think we're going to get a game that's as exciting as yesterday's in the rest of the match. Maybe we will, but I don't think so, objectively. So that's just what I would say. All right. So what is happening here? Why is Magnus thinking is the question? I mean, is he trying to play knight? Maybe Magnus wants to go knight e7 g6 and just not play bishop e6. That's the only reason I can think that Magnus is thinking here. Is he's basically trying to decide between these two moves. Knight e7 d4 knight g6 also looks completely fine as well. But there might be some rook a7 business here. Rook b7, rook a8. I mean, probably it's nothing, but it feels like this could be a little bit sketchy. So also knight e7, maybe there's just rook a7 in one go as well. So that's probably what Magnus is deep in the tank about. But the Rapid and Blitz 1/4 of this watching, I think it could be if it was marketed correctly. It definitely could if it was marketed correctly. And I mean, what I would say is about the game when everybody's really getting into it, that's when it was already a rapid or blitz by that point. So I think that sort of speaks volumes to, I mean, just in general, when chess is going to be exciting is when players don't have a lot of time and it's really, really tense. Which in classical chess, 95% of the game is not like that. Yesterday I fell asleep after time control thinking it was a draw. I regret it in the morning. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, it should have been a draw if Jan had waited with like the bishop b4 d6, but he didn't do that. Speed of games is hard for casuals like myself. That's actually true. I mean, I guess from the get-go, if you get to a critical position and it's quick, I think that's actually easier for sure. So the viewership skyrocketed after the last time control was 15 minutes. Yeah, well, like I said, that's not surprising at all. Not surprising at all that when it got to like the really tense rapid portion, the 15 minutes at the last time control, that more and more people start piling in and watching. So I don't know. I mean, I think there's some compromise. I mean, I feel like maybe 35, 40 minutes. Someone says 45. I mean, there's some compromise in there that makes sense, but I don't quite know what it is. 25-minute rapid is slow enough. I mean, I think 25-minute rapid is great. I mean, I really do like rapid chess a lot. Is white better? White's maybe a little bit better here, but I would say it's very minimal. Very, very minimal. Thank you to Scott Krepich for the 21 months. Thank you so much to Scott Krepich. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Scott Krepich. Game 6 start of game 1. Game 6 start of game 1 viewers. Last phase, 1 million viewers. Yeah, who knows? I think classical has a place. It definitely does. I mean, I think you want slow games for World Championship. I mean, it's the most prestigious title. You want players to play the best moves, and the more time they have, the more likely that is. But at the same time, like I think it's maybe a little bit too slow at the moment. I mean, I would also say it's like I don't think a tennis match should ever go like 6 hours. Like there was an Australian final between Djokovic and Nadal, I think, which was like 6 hours. I don't feel like a tennis match should ever go 6 hours. I kind of feel the same way about a chess game, that a chess game should never go 8 hours. So I think it's a little bit too slow. But I don't know what the exact I don't know what the exact compromise is. All right, so c3. I mean, Magnus still thinking. Magnus is definitely out of book here. Players getting more time after move 40 is stupid. No, that's a debate. There's no way Anish said that, right? Anish didn't say that, did he? If Anish said that, that would be kind of weird. That'd be a very weird, champ. I don't think Anish said that. I think you're debating me. You're totally debating with that. Okay. He said it, but it was satire. Yeah, okay, it's just he's making a joke. Yeah. It was just a joke. Okay, that's not surprising at all. Yeah, not surprising in the least. Team Djokovic 5 hours. Well, I mean, that's actually, I'm going to be honest, that's why I've always liked Federer more than the other guys in some ways. I mean, stylistically, I like Nadal more, but I've always liked it when you watch a Federer match. He has like none of these like grindy like 6 hour matches the way all these other guys do. He just gets up, serves quickly, finishes his game, and his matches are like usually like 3-4 hours max. I guess he had the one match in Wimbledon against Djokovic. Maybe that was a 5 hour final, but and maybe against Nadal that epic one was also maybe 4.5-5 hours. But I do like that about Federer, that his matches generally are a lot shorter. So. You're my favorite tennis player, Hikaru. I'm sorry, I definitely am not your favorite tennis player, but thank you. Yeah. Thank you to Andre Alien for the tier 1. Thank you to Namnud for the 9 months. Thank you so much to Namnud. Appreciate it. Why am I not talking about cricket? Because cricket isn't my kind of game. Federer is just old. I mean, he's just old and his body broke down, so that's why he's not playing anymore. But I always like that about Federer. It's just like get up, serve, finish the game, clean, quick. No standing around. No 30-second breaks between every single serve, the way that a lot of the other guys do. All right. Still waiting on a move here. I'm your favorite basketball player. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you to any primers for the 2 months. Appreciate it. My longest game is actually 8.5 hours too. I played an 8.5 hour game myself against Georg Meyer. Other notable games, I think I had a very like 7.5-8 hour game against Zhu Chen. I also had that very painful loss to Magnus in London, which I think was like 7.5 hours. So I've had some very, very long games too over my career. Gunina was also 8.5. Thank you to Z Torres for the prime. Yeah, I've had a lot of very long games. So everybody who's played professional chess has like at least 3 or 4. Can your body break down in chess terms? I don't think so. But I would say this, that yeah, when you play the 8-hour game and you miss dinner towards the end of the game, it is very frustrating. I've had cases where I have started to sort of hallucinate a little bit towards the end of those games. So that's what I would say. All right. Yeah. I it's where you start to like hallucinate towards the end of the game. And it's like you can keep drinking like G Fuel or whatnot, but yeah, it does happen. Players have surely something to eat. The World Championship for sure they do, but I mean probably it's just like snacks. Probably not like major food. Am I going to drink every minute of every match? That is my intention. I mean, again, I don't know. I mean, if I can wake up at 4 a.m. every day, obviously it's very difficult, but I will try. That's my plan. Speaking of food, I am going to eat some fruit to start off the morning. Major food would make you sleepy. Depends. Nepo writes his moves in English or Russian. That's a good question. I assume English. Oh, Magnus is smiling. Am I prepping for Anish? No, you guys. I'll do some basic prep tomorrow when we have a rest day. Okay, so Magnus does play knight e7 when all is said and done. He plays knight e7 to go knight g6. He obviously wants c5 here. Very, very compact position. I'm kind of surprised computer gives white an advantage because I really don't see white having any advantage here objectively. So yeah, I mean, I've said before and I'll say it again. I do not believe that there are performance enhancing drugs for chess. This whole notion of drug testing is simply to do with the fact that the FIDE believes that chess one day could maybe be in the Olympics and maybe they can get funding from the IOC and all that other jazz. That's the only reason you have drug testing. I'm going to be honest. That's the only reason you have drug testing. So yeah, I don't buy it. It's total Bologna. That's my personal opinion. Total Bologna. Total Bologna. I mean, would I play in the Olympics? I mean, of course I'd play in the Olympics if it gets there, but I think it's a pipe dream. Chess does not belong in the Olympics. Chess is a mind sport. Sure, you need to be in relatively good shape, especially when you play like really long games, like 7-8 hours. But I mean, I don't think that it plays that big of a role. I just don't think it does. That's just my honest take. Is that it's like, I mean, chess. The reason chess doesn't belong in the Olympics is because it's a mind sport. If you put chess in the Olympics, you have to put things like Monopoly in the Olympics too. So that's the reason you have drug testing more than any other reason. And as I said before, I just don't buy it. I think it's total nonsense. That there are drugs that help you. Total nonsense. Yeah, you still need to make moves with your hand, so it's a sport. You have to make moves with your hand. Yeah. Esports, yeah, I think chess is totally an esport. But yeah, like if chess belongs to the Olympics, then like okay, I mean Monopoly belongs to the Olympics, Scrabble belongs to the Olympics. What else is there? Checkers or draft that belongs to the Olympics. Probably poker should be in the Olympics. I mean, that's the thing. Like everything, you have to put every single like board game in the Olympics then, which is why chess will never be in the Olympics. And it shouldn't be in the Olympics, honestly. That's what I would say. Yeah. So that's why again I feel like that's the main reason there's drug testing. It really has nothing to do with like actually thinking people are going to cheat. It has to do with like hoping that it gets in the Olympics. I think there might also be some water, some IOC money as well. Maybe that FIDE gets because of this. I'm not actually sure on that, but that's just I think there might be. So yeah, it's all tied to that. It's just nonsense, plain and simple. Total nonsense. That's just what I would say. I am a disgrace to the empire of chess. Thank you. Honest opinions is being honest about it, saying chess doesn't belong to the Olympics makes me a disgrace. So be it. But that's as the dude would say, that's just your opinion, man. Or no, sorry, that's just like your opinion, man. All right. So let's see. Let's see what Jan will play. There's D4. There's rook A7. I'm really hard pressed to think of any other moves that make sense here. I mean, I guess bishop E3 also is a move. I think D4 is probably the best move. Yeah. I mean, I do consider chess is a great game. It's a great mind sport. But it should not be in the Olympics. I mean, it just should not be in the Olympics. Plain and simple. Why do they keep leaving the board every move? I'm new to chess. Because they have their private quarters in the back, and they'd rather just like kind of relax. Maybe drink some Fanta. Maybe drink some water. Maybe some G Fuel. Who knows what? And maybe eat some Fritos. And kind of just chill away from the board rather than sitting at the board all the time. That's why. Yeah. What is my level in the chess world? It's pretty decent, as Magnus would say. So it's pretty decent. Are players monitored? Yes, you guys. The players, there are security cameras, and players are scanned before the game. So yeah, the players cannot have any electronic devices on them. So they are monitored. Yeah. Maybe because you can't make it to the Olympic team, it's affecting your thoughts. Well, no, you're talking about the Chess Olympiad. The Chess Olympiad is different than the Olympics. I fully believe that the Chess Olympiad is completely justified. There should be a Chess Olympiad, which also is why should chess be part of the Olympics when you already have your Chess Olympics separately. But no, it's not. That has nothing to do with it. I've said for many years that I don't believe that chess should be in the official Olympics. That's what I would say. Yeah. But the Chess Olympiad is great, actually. It's one of the best events out there. And I mean, it's like also, if you already have a Chess Olympics, why should chess be in the actual Olympics? I mean, all these, I don't think any of these other sports that are in the Olympics have, like, you could say you have a World Cup, I guess, like in soccer. But for most sports, like I'm just thinking about swimming or things like that, you kind of have like what do you have? You have like the European Championships. You have championships, but I don't think you have it's quite the same. It's football. Yeah, I know. We all love football. Tom Brady, Tom Brady, of course, Rob Gronkowski, all those guys. Yeah, I know. Football is a great sport, you guys. All right. So Jan is still thinking here. Not sure what he's gonna do. Cricket should be in the Olympics. I don't know. I mean, cricket seems it's a physical sport. I'd be surprised if it's not, but who knows? But yeah, that's just what I would say. How are you keeping a straight face? What? I mean, what? I'm American, you guys. I'm all about American football. It's not hand-eye, it's football. You know, where guys, they put on pads, they hit each other really hard. It's intense. It's not where people, accidentally, one guy barely touches your leg and you go flying all over the field and you act like you're injured. Slight difference. Just saying. I mean, a guy barely touches your leg and you just fall right on the grass and, you act like you're going to need to go to the ER. Anyway, let's see. So what is Jan thinking about here? Because bishop E3, rook A7. I mean, I guess D4 feels a little bit loosening because I guess just C5 here and C4 to close the diagonal. So I'm not crazy about this position. Not crazy about this one. Thinking of Goy RD for the prime. Thinking of Mali Lift for the prime. But yeah, I will say that. Like I'm semi joking, but I'm also not. Like I find that very frustrating. Whenever I try to watch soccer, somebody just goes flopping all over the field, and I was just like, it's ridiculous. Like, I mean, until they actually stop that nonsense, I won't ever be big on soccer. Position is very dry. Yeah, I mean, this is a very, very slow position. Again, I will say that I feel like You know what concerns me about this position? I feel like if Jan is not super accurate and Magnus gets like c5, knight g6, bishop e6 in, Magnus can maybe fight for the advantage. He can maybe fight for an advantage like with some d5s later on or c4s. So Jan needs to be pretty precise here, I think. You get a dank TO for the prime. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah. Do they have another board to play out variations in the rest board? No, you guys. You're not allowed to analyze on a board. That is illegal. You have to basically analyze in your head. That's why you need to have you really need to have a very good visual memory for chess, because a lot of the calculations are in your head, and that's why players will look away. Like, for example, if I think about this position, I'm visualizing the board right now. Like, I'm thinking, okay, so rook a7, c5, d4. If c4, bishop a2 or bishop c2. If he takes and goes like knight c6, f7 hangs, so he can't go knight c6, so he probably has to play bishop b7, and you go from there. So that's why you're not allowed to, because that actually would give you a big advantage. I think there's a psychological thing. How do you explain it? Where if you see a position, you're much more likely to find the correct move versus having to do the calculation in your head. Like, you might just overlook a one move tactic when you're analyzing in your head, versus on a physical board, you're much more likely to see it. I think that's something psychological. I don't know what the term is for it, but that's the reason you're not allowed to. You need a Jumpin' Jack for the 16. They need Truls for the tier 1. What football team do I support? Not really big. I haven't followed football a lot in recent years, but I've been a Tennessee Titans fan for a long time. I really liked Eddie George and Steve McNair way back in the Stone Age. So on and off, I still like the Titans, but I don't really follow super closely. Paper is not allowed either, by the way. Grandmaster Wesley So got disqualified from a very important game he was playing, the U.S. Championship, for writing down self-help. I think he was writing self-help things to himself, like use time, be confident. And he wasn't even like writing down moves, but he got DQ'd. The arbiter was like, nah, you're gone. You're out of here, basically. So yeah, it's not allowed. Not allowed. None of it's allowed. We got to move. Oh yeah, we got bishop e3. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what happened. It's like no writing down. You're out of here. Imagine getting DQ'd for drawing something on a paper. Yeah, I mean, Wesley literally, I think it was just he literally wrote, I think he wrote something like use more time or something like think more. He wrote stuff like this. And basically the R was like, no. That's too much. You're building up your own self-confidence. Not allowed. You're gone. So yeah. All right, bishop e3. I guess bishop e6 or c5 are the two moves that I consider. Knight g6 maybe still is. I mean, I guess it's three moves here, and I think Magnus is probably going to think for a little bit in this position. If Nepo was still down on scorecards on the last match, what's the most aggressive chaotic opening you could play to win? Actually, who has white in the last game, by the way? I haven't looked at the exact breakdown. Someone in chat can tell me because I'm too lazy to look. Magnus is white in game. That's actually a huge edge. That's a huge edge for Magnus that he is white in the final game. That's like a very big edge with a 1-game lead already. That's a huge edge. So like, okay, so this is game number 7. So he's 9, 11, 13. So Jan has 3 whites left. Yeah, I'm gonna say this. Jan has to change the opening next game. Next game, Jan has to change it. Jan has to play something else in game. Has to play something else in game 9. He cannot afford to play another one of these anti marshals. He has to change it up next game, and I think he should change it up with the English. You're talking as if it's impossible to win with black. Against Magnus, it is impossible. Magnus knows the metas. I mean, I'll tell you why it's almost impossible, because Magnus knows the metas. And for example, there was one game I played against Magnus in the tour final. That was already like over a year ago, and I played against Magnus, and he made the mistake. He was up 1-0 in the blitz tiebreak. He made the mistake of playing d4, and I was actually able to beat him in a King's Indian. But after that game, whenever I played Magnus in one of the online events and I have black, he always makes sure to make it as dry as possible. And I know it sounds weird saying this, but if you don't want the game to be exciting with white, you can steer it in that direction very easily. And Magnus always has done that in the online tournaments. So there's no chance. I mean, there's no chance. Karyak won with black, but that wasn't a situation where Magnus needed a draw. That was very early in the match and quite different. Quite different. And if Magnus is in a must-draw game in round 14 with white, he is not going to lose. I would bet you $45 million on that. So that's what I would say. There's zero chance in a final game that Magnus would lose with white. Zero chance. Whole net worth. Yeah, exactly. Let's see your 45 million. Oh, I'm sure I could just get a $45 million loan from the bank. Anyway, yeah, just like if it's a final game, no chance. No chance. 45 million. I must go talk to Magnus. Collusion. Yeah, actually, I want to say something else to you guys. This is not to be a Debbie Downer, because I know I already gave an Olympic take, but I will say this is the one reason that you cannot really, in my opinion, have very big betting on chess, is because the problem is, like, if you have a derivatives market, which is more than the actual prize money involved, it's going to cause problems down the road. So that's actually one reason I'm fairly bearish on betting in chess, because with a match like this, the prize money is what, like close to $3 million. But if you have like you have an underlying derivatives market where you have like 10 million or more or something, there's very good chance for manipulation to happen. So that's why I don't think betting in chess can ever become something really, really big, unless FIDE or organizers are able to really amp up the prize fund significantly. Does that apply to all betting? Does it though? I don't think it does. Like LeBron, like if you look at basketball, how much money, like if you look at the salaries of every single team, you just add it all up together, how much do the salaries come out to? I guarantee you that it's not the same thing. I guarantee you that there's not much, significantly more money being bet on basketball. It's 300 million. That's it. If you look at all 30 teams, it's only 300 million. I thought it'd be more than that, but maybe I'm wrong. Oh, that's right. You're right. Actually, that's true. You're right. Team sports. You're right. I forgot about that little caveat. You're right. In a 1v1, it's much easier than in a team sport. That's actually true. I forgot about that. That's a good point. Yeah. Oh, it's 3.67 billion. So this is what I'm saying. You see, look at, it's a team sport. You have a huge amount in salaries. No chance. Just no chance. And also, I think there was some cheating scandal in tennis not so long ago as well. Okay, so let's see. Back to the chess. I expect c5 or knight g6. And bishop e6, of course, is fine too. But Magnus didn't go bishop e6 right away, so I think he's going to go c5 here. Or maybe knight g6. One of these two, I expect. Tier 2 tennis is filled with match fixing. Okay. Oh, did he go bishop e6? Wait, someone said he played bishop e6. Did he actually play bishop e6? Wait, some people say c5 and bishop e6 were both played, so I don't know what exactly did. More betting would drive higher viewership. Higher viewers means more ad dollars. More ad dollars equals bigger prize. Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know. We're on live chess and it's been delayed a few times, so I wouldn't be shocked if it hasn't updated. I think, yeah, I mean, it's possible. Like I said, unless there's some huge jump in money in chess, that's not going to happen. I don't see it. Is what I would say. So that's just a little bit that I would say. Bishop e6 was played. Yeah, chess.com's not updating on the live board. So I think, yeah, we just wait to see. So, yeah, anyway. Just go to Elite Chess, much faster than the broadcast. Yeah, you guys, as you know, the Benjamins that I receive are from chess.com, so I'm not really allowed use that other site, unfortunately. I am sorry. Okay, anyway, back to our scheduled broadcasting. Back to the party line, following everything that I'm supposed to say. All right, chess.com live, it's great. Chess.com play is also great. What can I say? I mean, it's a fabulous site, absolutely fantastic here. So let's see what's going to happen here. I think Jan will probably play d4 here. Maybe he'll go rook a7, 45 million tangent. I like it. Yeah, I like it. $45 million tangent. That's a good one. I agree. All right. So let's see. What's gonna happen here? I expect bishop e6 was played, right? You guys said it was. It's not showing up, but I'll just leave it on the boards for right now. And we'll keep figuring it out. So let's see. The sports betting is projected to be $180 billion in the US in 2025. That's all nice and fine, except the moment I bought some of the gaming stock, it promptly went straight down. So yeah. No TSM logo on the spinner. It should be. Is it not in the spinner? What do you mean? TSM should be. Did it just vanish again? No, it is. No, you guys see TSM. It's in the logo. Yeah, I'm still part of TSM. But yeah. D4 played. Okay. Call Benjamin. Well, we had Benjamin yesterday. No guest today, but tomorrow we're gonna have Sam Shankland on. And it's gonna be fun because Sam actually was a second for Magnus during his match against he was a second for Magnus's match against Sergei Karyakin in 2016. So Sam will have some better we'll have some good insights, I think. D4 was played. Okay. Okay, I'll just leave this on the board, or let me refresh it. Okay, there we go. So we got it. So let's refresh all the boards. Am I the only chess player in TSM at the moment? Yes, I am the only chess player in Team Solo Mid. Would I rather play Fabiano or Nepo in a classical game? I would rather play. I don't know actually. Fabiano's really become much more broad. He's plays a lot more openings these days, so I don't actually know who I would rather play. Because they're both fun to play against. If asked, would you want to be a second for a world champion or WC challenger? Maybe. I mean, there is a certain person coming up who I suspect at some point might ask me that exact question. So maybe. You never know. Why did Nepo play his draw line as white? I think Nepo wanted to bang his head against us one more time. But, to give you some context here, here's what I will say. And I think this is the problem with Jan not playing d4, is that this is starting to remind me of the match between Vladimir Kramnik and Gary Kimovich-Kasparov, where basically, obviously it's different because Magnus is a favorite, whereas in that match, Gary was the favorite. But basically that entire match until the very end, Gary was just banging his head against the Berlin defense. Every single game with white, he was banging his head trying to crash through and beat that opening. I think it became more an ego thing at a certain point where it's like, I just have to win. I'm the greatest player of all time. I have great preparation. This stupid opening there's no way that it's okay. And I think that I feel like Jan, he's I don't know if banging his head is the right word yet, but I feel like he keeps going into this, and it feels like every game that he goes into this, he's getting less and less. So I don't like it. I think he's got to change it up, and I bet his trainers are already looking at Englishes and other D4 openings, trying to come up with ideas. I really do think already they're looking at D4, and they're looking like 4 days down the road to play that. So that's what I would say. Why didn't Gary change it in that match? Because prior to that match, Gary's preparation had worked out so well. He was winning a lot of games out of the opening, and I think Gary basically got a little bit too cocky. He basically thought his opening preparation was out of this world good, and that nobody could neutralize it the way that he was able, the way that Kramnik did. And so I think Gary just thought this opening is dubious. I have to break it down. I have to tear down that wall. But of course, unlike Mr. Gorbachev, he was not able to tear down the wall. So thank you to Bobby Sanchez for the 5 months. Appreciate it. So that's kind of the thing. Actually, it wasn't Gorbachev. It was Hasselhoff, right? Wasn't it Hasselhoff who basically convinced everybody to tear down the wall? Thank you to Mr. FRXD for the tier 1. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I mean, Gary's still second. Well, I mean, yeah, of course, but I'm saying that at the time, Gary was like incredible. So yeah. Berlin Wall is still not torn down 21 years later. Oh, I thought most of the wall had come down. I thought they had like recycle it and turn it into other stuff. Thinking of Mr. Cagnus Marlson for the Prime. Thanks so much to Cagnus Marlson. Appreciate it. Maybe he wants a drawish game. Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with the opening choice from Jan. It's just, it really comes down to whether Jan can be solid tomorrow. If Jan is able to stabilize tomorrow and make a draw, this is completely reasonable. But if he can't, then it was a big mistake. But it all hinges on what happens. It'll all be very easy to say in retrospect. But yeah, why is Kasparov considered the GOAT? He was the #1 player in the world for 21 years. Very limited competition. He won the world championship many different times. So yeah, I mean, Gary was the greatest player until Magnus came along. Does Jan have chances to win this game? I'm going to be honest, I don't really see it happening. I mean, I know he's got the center with d4, e4, but again, I feel like black is so solid here. Like there's like maybe one small iffy issue like the a file or maybe the b5 pawn are weak, but I mean, it's so minute in terms of an advantage that I don't really feel it. Need a Vihan chess for the 4 months. Thank you so much to Vihan chess. Why did the world championship split around 2000 classical and FIDE? Because Gary Chess got sick of FIDE and he got tired of all the nonsense, and he created his new organization. I think that's around 2000, yeah, because it was Brain Games, right? It was the Brain Games World Chess Championship. That was the main thing. Thank you to Lalam for the Prime. Is this going to be a draw? I mean, again, I feel pretty confident saying that it will be a draw just because of the symmetry of the pawn structure. There's no imbalance here whatsoever, which is why the Spanish is very drawish just in general. Does Nepo want d5? Maybe. Did I support Gary in a civil war against FIDE? That's an interesting way of putting it. I mean, I would say that it's very, very tough. I think everybody has their own ideas of how to push professional chess forward. And, you know, I would say that with Gary, the problem and the reason that it didn't succeed in general is because I think there were competing agendas. Gary, like, he initially wanted to start a separate organization, which was I think it was the Grandmasters, was it GMA Grandmasters Association, I believe. And then it was like creating like the separate world championship. I felt like all of that, the problem and why it didn't work. Well, PCA is actually, it was GMA, then PCA, then I think it was GMA and then PCA, if I have it correctly. But the problem is, like, there always are competing thoughts, and Gary sort of was spearheading everything, and Gary at the same time was also the best player in the world, which makes it kind of tough, because then there's like a little bit of a conflict of interest too. When do I think Alireza will be #1? I mean, who knows? Who knows what will happen? So, all right, let's see. So in this position, we're still waiting on a move. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Magnus is thinking about here. Knight g6 again seems like the obvious move. I guess I'll turn the lines on. Wow. Okay, computer likes pawn takes d4. Wow. Wow. Okay, I'm actually really surprised by that. I assume knight g6 is the move. Takes knight g6. Oh, because I guess queen c2 there's just c5. Yeah, okay. I mean, I guess ed4 is fine, but I'd be really surprised if Magnus takes on d4 here. Longest amount of time I've ever spent on a single move in a game of chess. I'm not sure, but it's probably I'll tell you guys this, and why I also believe all the questions about things like things being bad, or things maybe helping you with like drug testing or making you focus more. I think the longest move I ever had was when I actually took a little bit of something, and it was I think a game I played against Boris Gelfand, where I thought for like 50 minutes on a single move in the opening. I think it was a Panov Caro-Kann in Amsterdam, I think it was. So yeah, so when people say things help, yeah, I wasn't feeling good actually at the time, so I took something, and it was terrible. Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. Yeah, it didn't help me at all. I thought 15 minutes, and eventually I lost that game on time. So, like I said, like anybody who says these things help, it's total Bologna. It's total Bologna. Total Bologna. Okay, so Magnus actually does take. So Magnus is in the zone. He's in the zone. He's really in the zone. I did not think E takes D4 looked like the right move. I mean, computer likes it, but yeah, Magnus is in the zone. It takes 50 minutes to work, yeah. Except that every single move I was thinking for like 20. I was always like thinking like 20, 30 minutes, and it was not good. It was not good at all. So yeah. So when people act like there are things that help, I mean, I call total rubbish on it, because everybody basically says things like Adderall are going to help you focus. All they make you do is they make you think for like 30 minutes every single move, and that's actually not good, because then at some point you're thinking too long every move. You're so fascinated by the position, and then you get in time pressure, and you collapse like a cheap suit. Thank you to Bugatti Juicer for the 9 months. Thank you to CKG Chess for the Prime. Thank you so much to CKG Chess. So, okay, so ED4 is played, so I'm kind of surprised to see this. Well, like this just doesn't look special. I mean, I thought CD4 was good, but I guess if black really just has time to go knight g6 and c5 here, there's probably kind of a neuters white's attack, or sorry, kind of just wrong word. This kind of just minimizes white's attack. Sorry about that. Wrong word. What am I even saying? Sorry, wrong word. Anyway, okay, so ED4 is played here. So yeah, I guess you just take with the C pawn. You got to create the center here. Yeah, neutralizes, not neutralizes. Yeah, neutralizes. Wrong word. Wrong word. Jan will soon fight for the draw. I think exotic mice for the prime. Yeah. I think this game is going to be decisive as well. I mean, very hard to see this being decisive. Very, very hard. I mean, I guess knight d4, knight b3 is one way, but again, black just has there's like really only potentially one weakness in the position. If black ever gets c5, b4, black has no weaknesses. So it feels so small here that I just don't see it for Jan. You know, Brian Gomez for the prime. But yeah, I just don't see anything else. I said the same last time, but this is much different because this position is very static and stable. There are no imbalances at all. And the last game should have been a draw until Jan fell asleep with this queen e4 move. That really spiced it up. The only thing is Jan maybe will try to spice up here and do something to create an imbalance, but I don't really see how he does. So knight d4, bishop b3, queen b3 is played. Oh, also, you guys, I'll give you another example of something. So T, I believe, also is limited. T also is limited. Has limited caffeine, right, as well? Because someone just said there's like a restriction on caffeine. So T has a limited caffeine, I believe, and so I was playing the Chess Olympiad in Hanty-Mansisk in 2010, and I was feeling really bad. I was actually quite sick. Like I had a really sore throat, didn't feel good at all, and all that stuff. So when I was playing the game, I was basically sipping. I was having a bunch of Ricolas or things like that. And I was having like 2 or 3 cups of tea like every 15 minutes or something to try and help my throat. And the only thing that helped with is that helped me have to run to the restroom like every other move. That's all that helped with. So again, I mean, I call Bologna on all this stuff. Total Bologna. That just made me have to run to the restroom every 10 minutes. So I call total Bologna on all this stuff. It's total nonsense. So yeah. What the F is a Bologna? Bologna? Haven't you heard of Bologna? It's a type of meat. Bologna is a type of meat. Bologna is also a city in Italy as well. So yeah, there you go. Thank you to Supreme Leader Snoke for the 12. Appreciate it. Yeah, Bologna is a meat city in Italy. So let's see. Knight takes d4, cd4. Bishop d4 is maybe a move as well. But yeah. Yeah, Bologna, Italy is a city, yeah. So knight takes d4, bishop b3, queen b3 is one idea. I mean, maybe there's some play. I guess c5 you just take, you have c4 to support the knight. I mean, that looks pretty good. Let's see. Also, someone says something talking about a certain medical substance would be good to do. I'm pretty sure if you do that certain medical substance, isn't it factually proven that substance will make you like have short-term memory loss? If you're a chess player, you can't afford to have short-term memory loss. Actually, not short-term. Sorry, it's long-term memory loss, right? Am I wrong on that? I thought if you do a lot of it, you have long-term memory loss. And if you play chess, long-term memory loss is like the one thing you cannot have in chess, no matter what you do, is memory loss. I don't care if it's short-term, long-term. If you have memory loss, you're not going to be able to play chess at a high level. So yeah, like I said, yeah, total nonsense. Like I said, total nonsense. I've totally triggered chat about Bologna. What Bologna's I've heard Bologna's a nice city in Italy. I think Bologna is supposed to have one of the oldest universities as well. So, yeah. So let's see. So knight takes d4, bishop b3, queen b3, and you hit the pawn on c5. Yeah, you guys are triggered. You guys, seriously, you do realize I speak Italian, right? I mean, like, you guys do realize that, don't you? I don't just speak American. I do speak Italian, so you guys really need to calm down. So, yeah. Like, yeah, I speak Italian, but I don't know how to pronounce Bologna. I mean, seriously? Please. State zit. There we go. Okay? Enough said. Okay? So e takes d4. So knight takes d4 is played. So bishop b3, queen b3, and completely fine. So yeah, so knight takes d4, bishop b3, queen takes b3. Okay. Anyway, let's just see what happens. Okay. I don't speak Italian, sì, parlo italiano. Perché? Pensi di no? Per favore. Okay. So knight takes d4 is playable. Knight d4, bishop b3, queen b3. Invece pedone per d4, alfiere b3, donna b3, donna c2, c'è il pedone c7, molto debole. Molto debole. So yeah, there you go. Okay, thank you. Okay, now you guys can be quiet, please. Thank you. So knight takes d4 is played. I'm reading off Google Translate. Yes, it'd be kind of hard because actually Google Translate is not good for chess. Like I've actually tried with French a little bit to try and understand some chess phrasing, but I don't. It's actually, I'm no good at it. Like I've tried to translate, to do some translating of like French chess terms and things. It just doesn't work at all. It doesn't work at all. Yeah, so it just doesn't work. Maybe sub to unsub for the 2 months, but yeah. Anyway, 10 words in Italian is not many. Yeah, you want me to start talking? 1 second. You guys want me to start talking broad phrase? Adesso sei e mezzo qui in America, in Los Angeles. È molto freddo qui. Molto freddo. Forse più tardi c'è il sole, più caldo, più normale. Although I will say my Italian has gotten significantly worse over the past couple of years, because I don't really speak much anymore. So it's not perfect. It's not perfect, but I still do speak a fair chunk of it. So okay, so queen c2 is playable. I think queen c2 or queen d3. No, I mean it's not great. It used to be better, but it's I can still speak some at least. Okay. I don't really speak other languages. I mean, I speak some Spanish. I understand a chunk. I understand some French, although I don't really speak French. But that's about it. And some Latin. My English is weak. No, sorry, it's not English, you guys. It's American. We speak American. American, the language of the world. Greatest language. Greatest language, greatest country. That sounds like a Ludwig thing, isn't it? That's like the Ludwig. What's a bigger number, better person, better language, better country, or something? Anyway, okay. So we do have CD4 played, knight, bishop b3, queen b3, knight g6. Now after queen c2, we're gonna get c5, and the question is how does Jan sort of get any advantage at all? And I don't know. That sounds like a Trump thing to say, maybe. I mean, that was the Ludwig saying. Was a bigger number on the Twitch leaks, like bigger number, better person. So like it's what? Better language, better country, or something weird like that. Okay, so queen c2 c5 here, and I don't really know what you're trying for. I mean, I feel like black's maybe this might already be completely equalized. I feel like it's very, very close to equalize. How is Jean chosen? He won the tournament where where one player qualified for this event. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. I think this is equal. I think queen c2 c5, and if you go queen d3 c5, all these ideas with c5 really are just simplifying the position. I mean, again, let's look at this. Sometimes you have to look at the board in two halves, and if we look at this king side, everything is extremely stable here. Like, these pieces are all perfectly placed. So it really comes down to the queen side. If black hits c5 and b4 or c5 cd4, black's completely fine. So it really just hinges on the whole queen side here, because the whole king side is so stable for both sides that nothing will happen on this side of the board. So it just comes down to basically this side, the queen, everything on the queen side, the A to D files. That's where, if white's going to get an advantage, it has to be on this side of the board. You'd prefer black. I think it's actually very equal. I think queen c2 c5. I mean, the only reason I don't prefer black is because black, if he takes, I mean, like, for example, rook d1 takes, after like bishop d4, I mean, white's still solid, and you do have these maybe two very, very minor weaknesses. I don't know if I would call them weaknesses, but maybe weaknesses. Thank you to Miskiff thank you to Misk for the 1,000 bits. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So thank you so much. Yeah, I guess queen c2 is probably the move here. I don't see other moves that really make a lot of sense. Maybe rook a7. It was not Miskiff. It was Misk. Sorry, I misread it. No, Miskiff is a very famous. The Miz is a very famous WWE wrestler, right? I think he is, at least. Do I speak Italian to Fabiano? No, I mean, Fabiano and I have always communicated in English. I think it's Fabiano. I think when he was living abroad, I think he was in Ticino. He was like in Switzerland. He was in Lugano. He was living in Lugano. So when he was in Lugano, I think a lot of people spoke English there, as I recall. So yeah, knight g6 played here. I guess queen c2. Am I fluent in Canadian? I would have to change my accent, but I think I am. Thank you to Virtual Vicar for the 20 months. Thank you to Big Floby as well. Appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, he was living in Lugano. All right, so let's see. Queen c2 looks like the best move. Maybe there's some other move. There's also rook a7. Just say about instead of about. Yeah, I have to change it. Like, I have to flatten the way I talk. I have to be like, I have to be less sing-songy. I can't be like, hey, how are you? Hey, what's going on? How are you? What's up? You have to like flatline it much more when you're speaking Canadian. Because it's like it's more flatlined. It's not sing-songy. Like, American English is very sing-songy. So yeah. The one thing I picked up in Canada that I've never really gotten rid of is from my time in Canada, like, if I bump into someone, or like someone's in my way or something like that, I always say sorry. Even though I don't say sorry, I say sorry, of course, because, you know, I'm back in America. I still always say that, though. I always say it, and that's the one thing. Like, here in America, you don't say it. It's just like you say excuse me, or you know something like that. But yeah, that's what you say in all situations. Yeah, sorry, of course. The other at least English Canadian thing is you always say like bean. You change the double E, you make it like E. That's the other thing you say. Like, I would say, you know, I've said in American English, I say I've been to Canada, whereas I would say I've been to Canada if you're speaking Canadian English. So there are a few little differences. Yeah, you do the hard E. Yeah, like, all right. So let's see. I've been to Canada. Yeah, I've been to Canada, exactly. Okay, so what will Jan play? Rook c1, queen c2, or rook a7? All moves make some sense. It's called longy, not a hardy. Bean. Okay, that's not a hardy. Fair enough. Okay. That's what you say at the dentist. Well, I have to say, you guys, you know, yesterday as I was at the dentist, and basically wanting to die, I will say that I was thinking a lot, and, you know, it's pretty amazing to me, because I remember when I was on stream talking about the end game that Magnus was playing yesterday, the rook, knight, and 2 versus the queen, and how I was saying you should put the rook behind the pawn, and like the only way that I was able to survive the dentist was I was literally thinking about that end game, and while I was there. And it was pretty remarkable. Like, even as I was thinking it through, it's amazing how Magnus on the fly was conceptually able to realize the rook in front of those two pawns was better than the rook behind the pawns. Yeah. No, it was a great end game. It was a great end game. Yeah. That's why I ended my stream so quickly also, because I kind of had to run out the door. Do I expect this is selling from Nepo tomorrow? I don't know. Endgame's less painful than dentist, yeah, especially when you haven't been to the dentist in like 5 years and you have like plaque that's showing up on x-rays. But anyway, that's beside the point. All right. So we're waiting for a move from Jan here. I'm guessing he'll play queen c2. What else makes sense here? Okay, the moves that I see are queen d5, queen d3, queen c2. All guard the pawn. There's rook a7 or rook c1. I mean, if you're going to move rook c1, rook e4, rook c7, there's no reason not to go rook a7, where the rook hits the pawn, but it's also more active on the 7th rank. So let's start with rook a7. So rook a7, I guess c5 anyway. I guess you go e5, queen e6, queen e6, maybe d5. So maybe not. Maybe you go rook c1, because now c5 you just take and you win a pawn. But still, after rook e4, rook c7, I feel like knight e7, knight f5 or queen f5, knight d5. Doesn't feel like very much. It really doesn't feel like very much for white here. Do I think match is over if Magnus wins this game? Yes. If Magnus wins this game, the match is finito. Absolutamente finito. Finito, finito, finito. You get a treacle and sponge for the prime. Which probably is why Nepo's trying to be more solid this game and not go all in here. Which, I mean, like I said, we'll see after tomorrow. We'll know whether that was the right choice or not. That's my guess. No guest today. We do have a guest tomorrow. We will have Sam Shanklin, the 2019 United States Chess Champion. He will be on. 2018. Sorry, I'm 2019. I guess, yeah, because 2019 was that long ago. Wow. Crazy. So, yeah. So we will have Sam on. Adiban wedding on his YouTube channel. Seriously? Yeah, okay. Anyway, why are there still 7 games to go? Because the match is 14 games. Yeah, no, it's not about me winning. It's that it's crazy that it was that long ago, actually. Time is kind of just like, I don't know what's with time. Time these days, I don't even know anymore what year it is or any of that stuff. Did it used to be 12 games? Yes, it was 12 games. In the old days, though, it was 24. So they have reduced it quite a bit. Speak British. I can't really speak British very well. Because in Britain, they don't speak proper American. They have all these weird words that you like never heard of. Like, I mean, there are all these weird words and all these weird sayings, like separate the wheat from the chaff, which of course, like I literally my entire life have never used the word chaff. So, and then they have words like jumpers. What else? Jumpers. They have the really bad word for a cigarette. I mean, there are all kinds of bad things. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really, yeah, I mean, it's like, it's just weird. Yeah. Jumper is cute. Yeah, there's jumpers. I mean, I'm trying to think about all the other weird words. England, never heard of it. Yeah. They didn't reach the time control. No, Adele is British, by the way. She is. Yeah. So that's just what I would say. Thank you to Frag for the 8 months. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. So Queen C2. What else is he thinking about here? There's Queen C2, Rook A7, Rook C1. I don't see any other moves here. I don't see any other moves. Did I ever fall asleep watching a chess game? No, I haven't fallen asleep watching a chess game. No, I haven't. Who am I supporting? I mean, like I said, the only result I don't want to see today is I don't want to see a Magnus win, because then the match is effectively over. That's the only result that I don't want to see today, at least. But I don't have a favorite overall. That's what I would say. Could Magnus just play drawing lines to secure the win? Well, like I said, Trainwreck said, yeah, I'm gonna go on the 16th. I'm gonna go on the Scuffed podcast on December 16th. Basically, I wanted to do it this past week, but again, with the game starting at 4 a.m. yesterday, I just couldn't do it. It was too brutal. So I will do it on the 16th, because then the match is over and I won't have to stream it at 4 a.m. on the 17th. So yeah. You want Jan to win? I mean, even if this is a draw, it still remains very tense. Where am I going? I'm gonna do a Scuffed podcast, which Trainwreck runs. So I'll be on that on the 16th, whatever that Thursday is. I think it's the 16th, if I'm not mistaken. No birthday stream. I will probably be streaming on my birthday. Yeah, I will be. But anyway, bishop d2 is also not a crazy move. The problem is always black as c5. This is always the problem, and it's really simplifying here. That's the big issue. Doesn't that podcast run for about 8 hours? It does, but I know people stay on for a couple of hours. People don't just stay on for the whole thing. But yeah, I'll probably join for like 2-3 hours or maybe 4 hours and go from there. But I will be on it. Yeah. Do I have any money in BTC or crypto? I have some Ethereum, not a lot, but that's all I have. What would I do here if I'm white? I mean, I'm hard pressed to come up with something for an advantage. I mean, I almost feel like Jan should just find a simple path to a draw maybe here, and then just call it a day. I don't really see many options here. If Magnus wins this one, what do I mean by the match is over? There 14 games. Yeah. The thing is, if Magnus wins this game, Jan is not going to win 2 games because Magnus will just flatten the board with white, and I don't see. I just don't see Jan winning two out of his final 4 games with white. And the pressure will be huge, so he's very likely to take big risks and have to play things that are unsound. He could just lose another game. So it's not going to be if it's 2 games, there's no coming back. No coming back. So that's why, yeah, that's why I would say no chance. Thank you to Whiskey Tanuki for the Prime. Thank you so much to Whiskey Tanuki. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. So yeah, that's just what I would say. Strange things happen all the time in competitive sports. Yeah, of course. Obviously, I do. Fischer came back from 2 games down, I guess. Fischer was just down 1 game in that match. He lost the first game. I don't think or was he down 2? Oh, wait, no, he was down 2, right? Sorry, he was. But, I mean, I'm just saying modern day, especially with preparation being where it's at, I just don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. Yeah, I forgot that he didn't turn up in game 2. Yeah, and then he went on to steamroll Spassky. But, yeah. I just don't see it happening. No, Spassky was prepared, but the preparation level was much lower in 1972 versus 2021. I mean, it's just not comparable. It's really not comparable. Rook C1 is the only thing that worries me about Rook C1 is that their idea is like 97, Queen F5, Knight D5, and I'm kind of worried that you might end up being a little bit worse here potentially with white. That's why I'm a little bit scared about Rook C1 or Rook A7 here. That's what I would say in this position. Topalov kind of came back in the Kramnik match too. That was just a weird match, wasn't it? That was just a very, very weird match. What was the opening? This was another Rui Lopez or Spanish opening. Do I feel bad for Nepo? I mean, as someone who's been in that situation and lost a 7-hour or 8-hour game to Magnus from a position that I thought was for sure a draw. I mean, of course, like I feel horrible for Nepo. It's very, very tough. So yeah, I did feel bad for him. Would I say yesterday this was one of the best ever? Accuracy wise, yes. I would say that like it was a very choppy game, but the last like 30 moves were probably the best 30 move sequence that you'll ever see in a World Championship game. The last like 30-40 moves were the best you'll ever see. The first 40 or not first 40, first like maybe not even last 30, maybe it's more like last 50 moves or more. But I felt like the first like 40, 45 moves were very kind of shaky at times. But yeah, after that it was phenomenal play by Magnus and Jan actually defending after that Queen E4 blunder. What's wrong with Rook A5? Oh, nothing's wrong with it. It's just it's leading to it's petering out to a draw here. Probably Knight E7 and Knight D5 or Queen E6. Actually, this is bad because there's Queen B7. I just realized. So maybe just like Queen E6 even. Maybe Queen D8. Feels pretty solid. Must be pretty epic to be able to appreciate the moves. Yeah. No, it was great. Where does the yesterday's game rank in terms of like a pure technical win? If I just look solely at the end game, probably the greatest end game in a World Championship match. I would say pretty safe to say that. Beyond that, I don't know. I mean, obviously it was a great game, but it was very, very choppy before that. So I can't be too, since we're talking about like historical context, I can't be too over the top about it. But definitely the end game was like one of the best you'll ever see. What do you play against D4 if you want to win? You play the King's Indian Defense. Greatest end game ever. I mean, hard to say that. I mean, when you say greatest endgame ever, it's probably when you say greatest endgame ever, that's probably you can only really say that within the context of it being a world championship match. I don't think it's probably the greatest endgame ever, but because it was a world championship with the added stakes, that's probably what puts it in the conversation. The endgame once you got to like the Rook and Knight was like unbelievable by Magnus, just unbelievable. But I don't know within the context historically. I mean, I feel like there are other games like the Shirov idea. The Shirov Bishop H3 move is like the single greatest endgame move of all time, bar none. That's the greatest endgame move ever. Is Magnus overrated? I mean, if you mean overrated in relation to other players or something, I mean, maybe. But I mean, he's the clear number one, so I don't even know how you can really say that. I mean, if you ask me, do I think that Magnus is 80 points is 80 points better than Jan? I don't think so. But do I think he's 50 better? Yes. But again, you're talking really thin margins there of like a handful of games. So I mean, I don't even really understand like what the question is. Okay, it goes Rook E1. Interesting. So I expect C5 here. 100% I expect C5. So C5 takes. What's going on here? Rook E4, Bishop F8. If Rook F8, Queen B5, Knight F4, this looks a little bit scary, a little bit dangerous here. So probably, Then how do you get anything after C5? And I'm pretty sure Magnus will go C5 right away. What do I think can Firouzja beat Magnus next year? I will say this, and I think Firouzja, well, probably not Firouzja, but the people around him would do well to heed this advice. Is if there's one thing that I think Firouzja has to do, if he's going to beat Magnus, he has to have better nerves. He has to like really, I don't know if he should see like a psychologist or what he should do, but he really needs to have better nerves. He's going to have to better nerves. And I don't really know like if there's an easy way for that or something, but that's like the single biggest thing that Alireza is going to need. If he's going to beat Magnus in a match. No, I mean sports psychologist. I mean like sports psychologist. I don't mean like a weird. I don't mean anything else. I mean like a sports psychologist. A lot of like I have in the past worked with sports psychologists. Alireza showed great nerves against people like Shaq. There's a big difference. Alireza was not in danger in that game. Nerves that I talk about are when you're in a worse position like yesterday. When you're in a worse position like yesterday, like Nepo was, and you're under a lot of pressure. That endgame against Shaq, he was just better. It doesn't mean it was like winning or anything, but he was better, and he was the one trying to win the game. There are no nerves there because he's on the right side of the position. It's when you're on the wrong side of the position, and you get into those situations a lot against Magnus, where you're just a little bit worse. He just keeps the play, he's like knitting or something. He just finds that little, he just keeps poking, keep prodding, and like that's actually where like the nerves really matter. It's not in positions where you have an advantage. It's very easy. It's very easy when you have a better position to have good nerves. So that's not really the right context, is what I would say. So yeah, so C5 is played here. You're talking about the Magnus game I lost when I was very upset. I was actually very upset for it was not actually the game itself the reason that I was so disappointed. I was dealing with a lot of other stuff going on at that time as well. So it wasn't specifically the game itself, though. I mean, the game obviously played a huge role, but I was very sad just in general at that point in time. I don't really want to get into it, but there was other stuff going on. Who is the best ratio? I think Jan actually is the best ratio. He has 4 wins, 2 losses, I believe, in classical chess, if I'm not mistaken. So there is that. Yeah, L plus ratio. Yeah. Am I still competing in those tournaments? I am. I do intend to play the US Championship, maybe the Grand Prix. Who knows, really? Esipenko is 1-0. I do believe Esipenko is 1-0 in the match. So that's just what I would say. Most of those wins were when Jan was younger, so much different. No to answer your question, MPC. No, that's just simply no. All right. So let's see. What is Jan gonna play here? There's E5, there's DC5, many different moves here. Am I joining the next Canada's tournament if I can qualify in the Grand Prix? Yeah, exactly. Magnus splits out C5. Yeah, I think Is it possible to lose GM status? Only if you cheat. That's the only way you can lose GM status. If you do cheat, you can lose the title like Igor's Rouses from Latvia did. Thank you, Donald, for the 2 months. Thanks so much to Donald. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, so he blitzes out C5 here, which I mean it seems pretty straightforward. Don't tell me this is getting iffy. Nah, this is headed for a draw. I think it's headed for a draw, but honestly, I'm not sure. I mean, I think DC5. Yeah, I mean takes and takes. I mean, it's gonna flatten out into some kind of draw here. I think. If he trades on C5. Iffy, I don't think so. I mean, it's too simplified of a position. I mean, again, look at the board in halves. This whole king side is so compact for both sides that everything that happens is going to be on like the B, C, and maybe D files. So you can't really lose here with whites. There's no danger for Jan. I said that yesterday as well. That game, though, there were imbalances. Even though I didn't think he could lose, there were big imbalances in the position. There are no imbalances here because the pawn structure is the exact same. Thank you to Full Metal Jacket for the 4 months. Thank you so much to Full Metal Jacket. Appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah. No, I mean, basically yesterday allowed Queen E4. Queen E4 was the big mistake by Jan. If he hadn't done Queen E4, that would have been a draw. But again, that's why you also play the game, is you keep the game going, keep things possibly happening, and there can be mistakes. Every time I see ads, I go to other streams. Oh, is there some kind of ads running? There is. Okay. Welcome to Twitch. Welcome to Twitch. You can, of course, sub for $5 a month or use an Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, Amazon owns Twitch, so connect your Amazon Prime to your Twitch Prime, and you can subscribe free to one channel every single month. And I know there are a lot of people with Prime who do not use it, so make sure to use your Primes, you guys. You got to use those Primes. You take money out of Jeff's pocket. Lord knows, even with Amazon down 2.5% on Friday, he's still doing really, really swell. So again, take that money out of Amazon Twitch's pocket, put in the money of hardworking streamers. And remember, it does not auto renew, so you need to make sure to use it every single month. Really, really important. Thank you to Gabriel Momoga for the Prime. Thank you to Watkins for the Prime as well. Thank you to Hendu for the Prime. Appreciate it. How's Amazon down during Christmas shopping time? Because the market's freaking out over Omicron. That's why. It's just freaking out over Omicron. Hardworking streamers, you guys, I get up at 4 a.m. to stream this. That is not easy to do. That is not easy. My alarm goes off at like 3:30, 3:45, and I'm like, oh, I want to go back to bed. And I'm like, no, but the fans are here. They want me to do commentaries, so I do think it's actually quite hard work. Yeah, I was up before 4 a.m. Yeah. So that's what I would say. Okay, thank you to C Steel for the Prime. Appreciate it. Thank you so much to C Steel. Thank you. All right, so C5 is played here. Thank you to Invincible for the Prime. Thank you so much to Invincible. Appreciate it. Micron's done well though lately. Hard part is waking up at 4 a.m. and then not looking like you want to commit violence. True. I mean, my hair is actually a lot better today. I know my hair's been good the last 2 days, even though I pretty much woken up, just done a quick comb over and scurried into the office. But anyway. I'm new here, and in chess, did you participate in the tournament? No, there was a qualifying tournament. I did not qualify this time to play in that tournament. Jan Nepomniachtchi, the challenger, he played that tournament, and he did win that tournament. So that's why I said Twitch needs to make Primes auto renew. Twitch will never make Primes auto renew because it's sort of a gimmick. Like they want you to use that Prime, but at the same time as auto renews, imagine how many people would be using it every month. There's no chance of them allowing auto renew. I think to Wooly Wombat for the Prime. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see. Thank you to Chill Player for the 2 months. Thank you so much to Chill Player. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you to Dr. Robson for the Prime. Forklift Billy. Thank you to Limouzi for the Prime. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. When will I play the candidates? I don't know, you guys. I don't know. Hopefully in 2022. Thank you to Johnny Olau for the 2 months. Thanks so much to Johnny Olau. Appreciate it. Need a Brainbox for the 2 months. Thanks so much to Brainbox. Appreciate it. Thoughts on Ludwig going to YouTube? Would I ever consider moving there? Like I said, at the moment, no. I mean, Twitch hasn't even, or not Twitch, sorry, YouTube hasn't even approached me. But again, that's a few months down the road before any of that is even a question. But I think I'll probably stay on Twitch. Thank you, Bosmo for the 6. Thank you, Fish Stalker for the Prime. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. I mean, everything's kind of happened on Twitch, right? So I don't know. Yeah. Thank you to Simone P for the 5 months. Thank you so much, Simone P. So c5 is played here. You can trade on c5 here. If you're not a chess player, what would your job be? I mean, that depends at different times in life what my job would be. It depends. If I was like the if I go back and I'm like the 11-year-old punk and I don't have chess, I probably would I probably would have turned into some kind of salesman. I don't know for what, but I would have been some kind of salesman. I think a silver blast for the prime, I think a fire bat for the prime. So that's what I would say is that I probably would have been some kind of salesman. If I go forward a few years when I'm like 15, 16, I think there's some chance that I might have been like I want to say like into languages, into archaeology, something of that nature. I've always liked like ancient history. I've always liked languages, something along those lines. Thank you, Egolomaniac, for the 5 gifted. Thank you so much. Something like that. If I go forward to when I'm like 19, 20, if I were to quit chess then, probably I would have gone into politics. So again, every time frame there's something different for me. It depends. Thank you to Brits for the prime. Appreciate it. One of the best chess players ever would have been a salesman or an archaeologist. Yeah, I mean, I actually think so. Yeah, because I've always liked languages. I mean, like maybe when Duolingo comes through with the sponsorship, so I can like do it on stream. You'll see how good I am with languages. But I do actually really love languages. So yeah. Yeah, because around 18, 19, 20, that's like when I went to college. That's when, for whatever reason, I liked political science. Before politics turned into the absolute disgusting like waste of whatever you want to call it that it is now. But yeah, would I consider running? No chance. And I'll tell you why. There's no chance that I would ever consider it, because based off of what I've seen being a public figure on Twitch, or like, I guess on the internet in general, like the amount of nonsense you have to put up with is so minor compared to what you have to put up with if you're intending to run for political office, that I would never do that. That's actually a simple answer. That's why I would never run for office. Hassan gets so much hate every day. Well, Hassan has some very polarizing views, shall we say. And I could never run in LA anyway, because I'm not liberal enough. I am liberal, but I'm not crazy liberal. So let's leave it at that. I speak Italian pretty well still. I speak some Spanish, a little bit of French. I mean, Japanese, if I got back into it, I probably could pick some up pretty quickly, because I did study it when I was like 10, 11, and then also when I was in college. But I mean, the problem with Japanese, or problem with like almost any language, is when you're here in America, nobody speaks these languages. Everybody speaks American. So that kind of makes it really hard, honestly. I think that's the biggest problem with like if you grow up in America, everybody just speaks American. So because of that, like, I mean, it's very hard, really. Like if you have no experience, I guess everybody speaks Spanish too, right? At least where I am. Like I've been in Florida and I've been here, everybody speaks Spanish, but still, like it's pretty hard. Pretty hard when nobody speaks any other languages. So yeah. Anyway, everybody speaks American. Yeah. Viewership is up again in chess. Yeah, chess is doing very, very well. I have to say, it's really great to see. Thank you to the 12,000 you guys who are watching. Thank you so much. So yeah, I can't speak American. Seriously, I've been down south. I like my grits in the morning. Some grits. What else do I like? There's a lot of stuff that I like. There's a lot of stuff that I like. Grits, yeah, grits. I like them grits. Come on. Okay, Queen F5. D takes C5, I guess. D takes C5. I mean, actually, this is going to be a quick draw. Wait, wait a second. Wait, actually, you guys, if you take their C4, and you can actually get into some trouble here as white, because now black's the pawn majority, and you have an isolated pawn here on D4. This is going to be a draw quickly, by the way. I think we're going to get DC5, takes knight E5, and this is going to peter out into a draw almost instantly. This is actually turning into an insta draw here. This is going to be an insta draw very soon. So we're going to have a press conference probably within half an hour is my guess. No, this one, I don't see how. Will all Chinese stocks get delisted? I don't think so. I think Baba and Tencent specifically will not get delisted. But we'll see. I mean, as someone who actually, I have a position in Baba, it's pretty scary, but I don't know. I think long term it'll be okay. Wait, not D5, of course. Let's see. So DC5 here. Yeah, I think this will be a draw pretty soon. I don't really see moves. It's hard to see moves. because Jan would have to be pretty insane to take and allow the c4. Because now, like, all these endgames are bad. You have, as the Italians would say, the Isolani on d4. So you have this Isolani on d4. There's 97 d5. There's also like rook c8 b4, the 2v1 on the queen side. So yeah, I said yesterday Nepo would like a quick draw. I mean, I thought a quick draw was the most likely result. But the problem with the quick draw is he has to defend tomorrow. Yeah. I think it's simple them for the prime. I sold out of Baba too long, wait for recovery, even if no D-list. Yeah, but I mean, the thing I would say with Baba though is, again, like, if you compare Baba to Amazon, I me's trading what, 2 times? It's what, trading at 2.5 times sales. I mean, 2.5 times sales, and what, the P is like 11 or 12. I mean, like, you compare that to Amazon. I mean, that's just way under. That's completely mispriced. Is what I would say. So let's see. So Magnus will probably just, I don't know, I guess he just takes on e5 here, and it's 95, and I mean, this is gonna be a draw very soon. Morning all, did Jan use the English opening? No, he played a Spanish again, and yet again he got absolutely nothing. Thank you to Marty Grund for the 5 gifts. Thank you so much to Marty Grund, a longtime chess supporter. Thank you, Marty. Thank you for the 5 gifts. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. In before Jan plays a 7-move endgame. But again, you see, this is the problem with the Spanish. Is the Spanish, you get these very symmetrical structures. It's like very symmetrical here. So after 95, you see all the pawns is symmetrical. Without imbalances in the pawns, generally, it's going to be, the games really trend towards a draw. Draw by move 30 or 35. I'm mostly awake by 435 for EU fans. Yeah, pretty much. Why is the Rui so popular? Because the Rui Lopez, named after Rui Lopez de Seguera, the famous Spanish priest in the 1560s. I mean, who doesn't want to play openings like a priest? Actually, I should be careful what I say, because some of those things that could get taken out of context very, very, very easily. So I really should not say that. Anyway, but yeah, Rui Lopez de Seguera, very famous priest. He invented the opening, I think, circa like 1563. Yeah, I should be very careful. I should be really careful what I say, because there's some really, really bad jokes there. So yeah, let's see. What's gonna happen? I think he's just gonna play knight takes e5. Knight takes e5. I said Rui Lopez de Seguera. Oh, Seguera, you're saying, or Seguera? Anyway, okay. I was gonna say, I thought, by the way, you guys, not to be political or anything, I thought it was kind of bizarre. I thought it was bizarre that I think the head priest in Paris, he was forced to resign. The head priest in Paris forced to resign because he had a relationship with a woman. Forced to resign because he had a relationship with a woman. And I was kind of like, seriously, unbelievable. All right. But yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Yeah, I mean, like, the head priest in Paris, he basically was forced to apologize and resign because the guy's like 70 and he was having a relationship with a woman. Like, I mean, like, just yeah. Was she an adult? Yeah, I think so. I think he was having like a relationship with a woman his own age, normal, everything normal, but no, not okay. Not okay, you guys. Not okay. You have to apologize and resign for that. So, yeah. Anyway. All right. So we'll probably get 95 played here. Why am I not in the studio with chess.com rather than the blockhead with Danny Wrench? I'm not in the studio because I'm not in Utah. I mean, Fabiano, I gotta give Fabiano props going to Utah for one whole month. I mean, that would break me. That would break me, honestly. So that would break me if I had to spend a month in Utah. That would break me. But Fabiano, credit him. He's in Utah for a whole month, and I'm amazed that he does. Thank you to Bits Desan for the 32 months. Thank you. No, I'm sure Fabiano is being paid well, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, a month in Utah, that would break me. I'm gonna be honest, that would break me. All right, so we're still waiting on a move from Magnus here. I'm guessing he's gonna play knight takes e5 again. 95, knight d4, queen f6, or maybe even queen d3. Feels very minimal at best here. Very, very minimal. that you can't do for the 3 months. Danny predicted a happy Hikaru. I mean, I'm happy enough, but unfortunately, this is kind of not what I was hoping for today. I have to be honest. Thank you to Bitcoin Arthur for the prime. Thanks so much, Bitcoin Arthur. Fabiano, I believe, lives in St. Louis, although I think his family in New York and or Florida. So normally, though, I believe he's in St. Louis. He's in St. Louis, Missouri. A month in Utah or 5 minutes in Cleveland. I actually don't dislike Cleveland that much. I think Cleveland and Detroit get a really bad rap, and I think both cities are much better than people. People watch too much news and just think that nothing but bad things happen. I think Cleveland and Detroit are much better, much better. Just, I mean, maybe that's a hot take, but yeah. So yeah, Utah wishes it was Colorado. Colorado is phenomenal. Colorado is one of my favorite states in the U.S. Anyway, yeah, so we're still waiting on Magnus to move. He can also maybe just trade and take. This is also an easy way because now knight d4 you get fossilized by knight f3 check, and you lose the rook. So you take and I take your rook. So you get fossilized here. So this is also another way that maybe this just actually flattens the board immediately. This is just a dead draw. Nothing you can even do here. So no, I'm a big fan of Detroit. Detroit's great. Like downtown Detroit is amazing. Downtown Detroit is phenomenal. But nobody ever reports on it. So all you hear about is the bad stuff. Have I ever been to Maryland? Yeah, I've been to every state except for Alaska, and I think Alaska. Maybe what's the other one? I've been to Alaska. I've been to every state except for Alaska. There's one other one. I forgot what the other one is, but not sure. But I think Alaska. No, I've been through Wyoming many times. Wyoming is great. Wyoming is fabulous. Refraction, say you Plague Dr. V as well. Thank you so much. I mean, Wyoming is really good, especially if you have a lot of money. You can go hang out with everybody in Jackson Hole. If you have like, $1 billion just lying around here or there, and you can go hang out with everybody in Jackson Hole, it's a great place to be. So okay, so we're still waiting on a move here. No, I said $1 billion. I didn't say $1 million. I didn't say $1 million, Elvis. $1 million is not enough to get you into those parties. You got to have a billion with a B to get into those private Illuminati and Bilderberg or whatever meetings. You got to have $1 billion to get into those. All right. Let's see. Where was that? I have $1 billion or $2 lying around exactly. I mean, I think Matt Magnus is just going to trade. He's going to trade on c5 and take on e5 to kill the position. Thank you to Go Duke for the 9 months. Thank you so much to Go Duke. Appreciate it. Thank you so much to Go Duke. So let's see. I don't know why I keep accidentally clicking e5. We're still waiting on a move. I think here it's just a question for Magnus. Is he just going to trade or not? Why isn't Jan creating imbalances? Honestly, you have to be fair to the players. I mean, Jan, especially for Jan more than Magnus. I mean, Jan, that was an 8-hour game. Jan was defending for probably the last 3 hours of that game. Defending, playing. I mean, he played about as well as he could have. I mean, you can say if he was a computer, he could have drawn the rook and knight and 2 versus queen, but I mean, no human could draw it. But I mean, he played 8 hours, defended for 3 hours, and lost that game at the end. I mean, that's so hard to come back from. That it's very hard to critique him. Even if I would have liked him to be more aggressive, you can't really critique him after a game like that. I mean, it was really rough. Thank you to Bomas for the 8 months. Thank you so much to Bomas. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it's I mean, you can't. I mean, after 8 hours and that, I mean, that's so depressing. It's depressing, heartbreaking, whatever you want to say. And especially as someone who's been in that situation where I lost a 7-hour game against Magnus, I know that feeling very well. You lose the game and then you have to play the next day, and that's as bad as it gets. Yeah, I mean, he's got to hurry. He has time though. He still is. Basically what Jan needs is he needs to get to the final segment of 3 games, games 10 and games 9 and 11. I believe he is white because this is what 7. They play 7. They play 8 tomorrow, rest day. Then they play 9, 10. Yeah, so 11, 12, 13. That's where Jan has the chances when the final stretch of 3 games where he's white, black, white. That's where he has to go for broke if he can get to that spot. Thank you to Hammers Cold for the prime. Thank you so much to Hammers Cold. Appreciate it. Did I ever figure out whether Magnus playing the rook in front of the pawns in the endgame yesterday is better than behind the pawns? I think it was better, actually. But yeah. Yeah, Magnus is white, black, white, right, but the final sequence, Jerome Moore, was not 3-3-3 throughout. They do 3, then 2, then 3, then 2, then 3, then 2, I believe. So there's one final stretch of 13. There's one final stretch of 13, I think, because this is game 7, right? So game 7, there's game 8, and there's rest day. Then they play 9 and 10 rest day, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, it's 11, 12, 13, that final sequence. Or wait, no, is it? Actually, let me check the schedule, just to be clear. I need to, I'm going to check that quickly to see if I have that right. Let me see. Okay, so the schedule is, actually, yes, it is right. So they play, yeah, December 10th, 11, 12 is 11, 12, 13, whereas white, black, white. And then there's just one final game on the 14th, potentially. So because of that, I am right on the sequence. So that's where if he gets to that spot, he has to go for broke. That's where he goes for broke if he can get there. It's basically tomorrow he needs to hold, and then he needs to be okay through the final 2. And if it's still -1, that final stretch of 3 is where he has to go for broke. Yeah, the last 3 games before the final game. Yeah. But I mean, again, we're going to see what happens tomorrow, because obviously if this game, if Jan does not hold tomorrow, then all bets are off. I mean, but we'll see. If he's able to draw tomorrow, then this is completely fine. No, Jan is going to trade I expect something like this, actually. Honestly, I expect something like this to happen, and we'll get some kind of quick exchange. I expect something like this. They minimize 0 for the prime. Although I think actually, since we're likely getting a quick draw, we'll have a long press conference with probably a lot of questions about game 6, which is better. So let's see. Will they play the games of the series as clinched? No, they will not play the games. They will not play games. No, it's whoever wins the match, White Golem. It's whoever has the biggest score at the end of the match. So Magnus is currently ahead 3.5, 2.5. In fact, I see that it doesn't show up on the actual screen, so I might put up a score deeper on the match. But they have 5 draws and Magnus won 1 game. So it's whoever's ahead after 14 games. Whoever has more points. There's no like 3 wins or like a set. I mean, there is a set score to win the match. Which I believe is 7.5 points. So that's kind of how it goes. Yeah, I'm gonna make the game last longer just to avoid more game 6 questions. Nah, I doubt it. But yeah, I will put the score up later, because I thought it actually showed next to the players' names, but it doesn't show. So I might just actually, you know what? I'm gonna add some text just so you guys see the score. Jan has 2.5, right? Yeah, this is gonna be a draw very soon. I'll make this a little bit smaller, you guys. But yeah, I think I'm gonna add some I'll add some text. Okay, there we go. I think that's okay. At least I think it looks okay. Move this down. Yeah, I think Queen C3 is what we'll get here. Yeah, we're gonna get this quick draw immediately. I mean, 100%. There we go. Okay. Yeah, pretty much exactly what I said is happening here. So we're gonna get it. We're gonna get a pretty quick draw, I think, very shortly. Yeah, and now we're probably just gonna get a quick repetition, like rook b5, rook c1, rook c2. I think is the easiest way. Just here, and just back and make the draw. Yeah. So that's what we should get. Yep. Check. King h2, king g1. Yeah. Yeah, I think Magnus will go rook c2, and we're gonna get an instant draw. So we're gonna have a press conference coming up. Yeah, I should actually update the scores, right? Because the next game is gonna be Magnus will be white, so I'll change that to 4, and I'll change this to 3. So